Hello, this is the Parliament channel, and it's day 5, the final day of the Standing Finance Committee, where members of the House of Representatives examine the 44 heads of expenditure for the national accounts for financial year 2025-2026. The total budget figure, as announced by the Minister of Finance, is $50,405,695,293. So let's just recap the 11 ministries and departments which were examined on day 4. And they were the Tobago House of Assembly, the Central Administrative Services Tobago, the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, the Office of the Attorney General, the Industrial Court, Judiciary, Ministry of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, the Ministry of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, the Service Commissions, and the Auditor General. So let's now take a look at the comparative figures between last year's budget and this year's allocations for the 6 heads of expenditure to be examined on day 5. First up on day 5, we have Head 86, the Ministry of Culture and Community Development, which was previously the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts. In 2025, the ministry had been allocated $354,714,300. In 2026, the allocation is $436,362,700. That's an addition of $81,648,400. Up next will be Head 40, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. In 2025, the ministry had been allocated $675,278,900. In 2026, the allocation is $550,406,100. That's a decrease of $124,872,800. Head 65, the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, will be next. In 2025, the ministry had been allocated $262,982,700. In 2026, the allocation is $269,403,500. That's an addition of $6,420,800. Head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, will be next. In 2025, the Office of the Prime Minister had been allocated $823,796,200. In 2026, the allocation is $522,702,600. That is a decrease of $301,093,600. The Office of the President, Head 1, will be up next with an allocation in 2025 of $19,358,900. In 2026, the allocation is $20,782,000. That's an addition of $1,423,100. The final head of expenditure to be examined on day 5 is Head 5, Office of the Parliament. In 2025, the allocation for the Parliament was $147,328,100. In 2026, the allocation is $153,541,100, and that is an increase of $6,213,000. So let's take a look now at all the heads of expenditure which have been examined over the last 5 days. So we had on day 1 the Ministry of the People, Social Development and Family Services, the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, and the Ministry of Education. Then on day 2 we had the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, the Public Service Appeal Board, the Statutory Authorities Service Commission, the Environmental Commission, the Ministry of Public Utilities, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Ministry of Homeland Security, the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Defense, the Personnel Department, the Registration, Recognition and Certification Board, and the Elections and Boundaries Commission. And on day 3, we had the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism, the Ministry of Finance, the Pensions and Gratuities, Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs, the Ministry of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprise Development, the Integrity Commission, the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, and the Tax Appeal Board. So that covers the 44 heads of expenditure to be covered over the 5 days of the Standing Finance Committee. Once again, the total budget figure for 2025-2026, as announced by the Minister of Finance, is $50,405,695,293. Now, on day 4, I would have given information on the time span for the Standing Finance Committee, as well as the fact that it was originally held not in public but in private among the members only. And then when the standing orders were changed in 2014, 2015, the Standing Finance Committee was then held in public. Another tidbit for you, another fact about the standing orders is on the procedure on examination of estimates in Standing Finance Committee. Now, the House Standing Orders for 2014-2015, Standing Order 8041, says the Standing Finance Committee shall consider the estimates of expenditure in relation to the heads of expenditure in the order submitted by the Leader of the Opposition in accordance with Standing Order 83, allotment of time in Standing Finance Committee. Now, prior to this, it seems that the Minister of Finance proposed the order of examination of the heads of expenditure. So for the last 10 years or so, the opposition leader has been the person who has given the order of examination of the heads of expenditure. Over the 4 days so far, you may have seen that some of the heads, there was a slight change in when the heads were examined. Some of that was depending on which minister was responsible for which department. So some of the departments were grouped together. On the first day of the Standing Finance Committee, day 1, the time ran out because usually the time set for the Standing Finance Committee is until 8 p.m. So on day 1, when there was the time ran out, the members decided that the heads that were remaining, they would be split over the next few days, over day 2, day 3. So following today's Standing Finance Committee, all 44 heads of expenditure should be dealt with. So today, day 5, we have the Ministry of Culture and Community Development, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, the Office of the Prime Minister, the Office of the President, and the Office of the Parliament. All 44 heads of expenditure, of course, if you go to the Ministry of Finance website, you will find the appropriation bill. You will find the finance documents on the Parliament's website at www.ttparliament.org. You will find the appropriation bill, which lists all the heads of expenditure as well as all of the funds allocated to each ministry for the financial year 2025-2026. Another important fact about legislation that has recently come into place is the procurement legislation, which mandates all ministries to ensure that their procurement plan is listed on the ministry's or department's website. I believe it is within 6 weeks of the budget. So therefore, the end of the start of the financial year. So therefore, the procurement plan for each ministry and department should be going up on their websites within the next few weeks. So the chairman of the Standing Finance Committee is making his way to the chamber, and we will begin this morning with the Ministry of Culture and Community Development.
Good morning, everyone. This meeting of the Standing Finance Committee now will resume now, and we move straight away into Head 86, Ministry of Culture and Community Development. Head 86, Ministry of Culture and Community Development, the sum is $436,362,700. I will now invite the Minister of Culture and Community Development to make a brief opening statement for a maximum of 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to appear before this distinguished Standing Finance Committee as we examine the estimates of expenditure for Head 86, the Ministry of Culture and Community Development, established under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. This ministry represents a bold realignment of priorities, consolidating functions from the former Ministries of Sport and Community Development and Tourism, Culture and the Arts. Our mandate is clear and transformative: to harness the power of culture and communities as drivers of economic diversification, social cohesion, and national identity. We are tasked with fostering inclusive growth where every citizen from Matlot to Murga, Crown Point to Charlottesville can contribute and benefit from our shared progress. This mandate aligns seamlessly with the government's overarching vision for a thriving Trinidad and Tobago. As such, we will be putting people first by empowering communities through sustainable development initiatives and build resilience and opportunity. We will be delivering good governance by ensuring our policies are transparent and impactful. We will be building globally competitive businesses by positioning our creative industries as engines for economic growth. As gazetted, the ministry is responsible for culture, encompassing carnival, creative arts, cultural products and centers, cultural organizations, national days and festivals, steel pans, and TASA. In community development portfolio, we oversee adult educational literacy, Best Village, community action for revival and empowerment, community centers, civic centers, community development policy, monitoring, community education, skills and training programs, community mediation, and entrepreneurship at community level. Additional responsibilities include management of issues related to First Peoples, Museum, regional complexes, and transformation and development centers. With oversight over the performing entities, cultural spaces, and National Association of Village Community Councils, village councils, through these divisions and organs, the ministry, we are poised to build a Trinidad and Tobago where culture binds us, communities thrive, and every citizen flourishes. Our key focus this fiscal includes protection of our cultural products through intellectual property rights to prevent exploitation and generate licenses, revenues for artists, and reinvestment. Honoring our icons to preserving the history and setting the stage for future generations. Revitalization of community centers and adult education programs. Raising awareness and accessibility of mediation programs so communities can better utilize these services, strengthen cohesion, and resolve disputes peacefully. Mr. Chairman, though we are here to discuss allocations, it is, however, this ministry will be judged by what it accomplishes in this fiscal 2026. Mr. Chairman, this is an investment in our people's creative and resilience, yielding lasting prosperity and pride. We stand ready to answer every query, provide every detail, and demonstrate how the efficient use of this allocation will yield dividends in social harmony, economic vitality, and cultural pride. I look forward to a productive session.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $436,362,700 for Head 86, the Ministry of Culture and Community Development, stand part of the schedule. This sum of $436,362,700 for Head 86, Ministry of Culture and Community Development, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found: in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly, and the draft estimates of development program. We now consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. These items are to be found between pages 532 and 534 of the relevant volume. Subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure, Item 001, General Administration. St. Anne's East.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. With regards to line item 14, could the Minister elucidate what are the Cabinet-appointed committees that are paid under this line item?
Could you repeat, member? Sorry.
With regards to line item 14.
So 14, right. Member? The Cabinet, member, it is intention of the Ministry to establish Cabinet-appointed committees to provide clear policy direction. There is no committees at this time.
No committees at this time, but you've put aside $150,000 as a contingency.
As I said, it is intent, once going through the fiscal, if the need arises, it is a fiscal procedure that was done so that we would have this spent.
Okay. If I may go to line item 01, could the Minister say how many persons are paid under this line item?
1 second, member. At this present time, 266.
Do you have vacant posts?
Yes, member, 119.
Is there any intention to fill these vacant posts?
This is full through service commission.
Mm-hmm.
So once, as you know, it is a procedure. So once we do have, we have reached out to them, so we do await the assignment of the relevant personnel.
The funds that are allocated at this time, are they sufficient to pay the staff that is in post? Is there any that is targeted towards hiring the new staff?
The current allocation is sufficient, and should we get new personnel, of course, we have the relevant allocation or funding within our existing allocation.
So there's no contingency put in place to hire new staff in this line item?
Member, I would have answered.
Well, the answer is no. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. To the Minister, same line item 00101. The Minister did say there's intent to hire new staff, but looking at the corresponding item from previous years, we see somewhat seems to be a $2 million decrease in this particular item. Does the Minister think the current allocation is enough to even handle the current staff allocation?
Member, as you would appreciate, this is relatively a new ministry, and also we did have some arrears due to the SRC being paid through this line item, and this line item deals with established staff. So even though we may have the intent to hire, we still have to wait on service commission. That usually takes time, so the allocation is sufficient.
But no contingencies, as was highlighted.
Member, the allocation is sufficient.
No, that wasn't what the statement was. I was just asking about the contingencies, just reiterating what you said earlier. So going to item number 14, can the Minister say the intent of these committees?
Asked and answered, member.
So when my colleague from St. Anne's asked, you said there were intentions for committees, but you didn't say what was the intentions of these committees.
Member asked and answered.
No problem. Thank you, Minister.
Diego Martin, Central.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, I acknowledge the fact that you would have you would have, of course, had members who would be members of staff who would be paid under 01000101 that would have come from the previous Ministry of Sport and, of course, the previous Ministry of Culture. Can you tell me if your allocation also covers the increases that would have occurred as a result of the SRC report?
Yes, Member.
They do. So you've accounted for those increased salaries in this year's allocation.
Yes, Member.
Can you give me, if you don't have it now, get it in writing, can you give me the positions and the total value of that increase?
Yes, Member, I will provide in writing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Item 002. Culture Division. For the Spain North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, you are now in charge of culture, your ministry. Culture, of course, has a very important role to play in the fabric of Trinidad and Tobago, and is something that requires a lot of funding, because a lot of the bodies that put on cultural events, take for example Carnival, take for example the recently concluded Diwali Nagar incident. Member for Urupuchis, you are next, so you will have your turn to say what line item, don't worry. I'm waiting for you. So in my 5 minutes and setting you see the member never practiced in court, the chairman did, and he knows you have to set the foundation for your question. So I am looking in particular at the type of work that needs to be done to make sure that your events are successful, and in particular you're going to count on your staff under the culture division to ensure that they're successful. One of the largest items of diversification in Trinidad and Tobago with potential is our carnival event and the build up to carnival. And in particular, as you may be aware, those events are never really within hours. There is a lot of work that has to take place after hours, etc., and overtime. I'm looking at line item 03 under 02. Overtime for monthly paid officers. Just using those two events of Carnival and, say, the celebration of Diwali, are you satisfied that $10,000 is going to be sufficient for a whole fiscal for overtime for monthly paid staff in this division?
Member, I appreciate your build-up to this question, but that does not apply under this line item. And as you know, there is an entire institution with regards to Carnival, which is NCC. So when we reach that institution, you could...
I am not focused on NCC. I am focused on your ministry and the use of your staff at the ministry. But hold on, because of course it is not only NCC that is responsible. The ministry has a role to play. The ministry staff would go out, the ministry staff would supervise, the ministry staff would look at auditing certain items that are being claimed. It is the ministry staff that you would be depending on, not the NCC. The NCC is a body with specific duties. And this line item is there for the payment of overtime for ministry staff in the culture division. When we get to NCC, believe you me, we'll deal with it. Are you satisfied that $10,000 is sufficient for overtime for a whole fiscal? That is less than $1,000 a month in a 12-month period. Answer that one first, please.
Member, I am satisfied, and this actually, I want to thank the Minister of Finance. He gave me 8,000 more than you would have aligned to the last fiscal. So apparently, he's appreciative of the work that is done. But as I said, there is an institution that deals with our carnival product. And I'll give way to
I am not focused only on Carnival, but let me ask this question now in relation to 01 and 00201.
Mr. Chair, procedural ruling, please.
I think...
Mr. Chair, it has now become a habit of members opposite to interrupt ministers when they're providing an answer, to interrupt the provision of the answer. I think that is unfair and inappropriate. I would appreciate if members opposite will allow the ministers to complete their answer before they ask another question. Thank you.
I have no issue with that whatsoever,
All right, I
Mr.
think that's
Chair.
fair.
Just as we
people
should
are-
not be interrupted, nor should we be interrupted with sidebar conversation when we're using whatever amount of our 5 minutes to ask our question. So let's get...
Let's proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So 002, the culture division of your ministry, under 01, salaries and cost of living allowance, $3.4 million. How many members of staff are on the establishment under the culture division? Let's start with that.
1 second, member, 35. We have 35 established positions.
How many are vacant?
7.
Out of those 35 positions, how many are currently being advertised on Employee TT?
None.
None? You're sure about that?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions on this line item. Sorry, 533, just looking at it. On 533, 002 is the same culture division under 01. Yes. So I had another question there, which is at line item 29. How many daily rated workers do you have in the culture division?
2.
2 daily rated workers, and you think the sum of $3,000 for overtime for 2 daily rated workers for a whole year is sufficient?
Yes, last fiscal we had 1,000, so again I'm appreciative that we have 3,000 this fiscal.
And you would appreciate, of course, there has been the acceptance of an SRC report since the last fiscal, which has increased the amounts paid to these persons, correct?
And as I said, we have 2, and the funding given is sufficient.
Okay, so but I'm asking a specific question. You accept there has been an increase under the SRC recommendations, correct?
Asked and answered, yes.
Thank you.
Lavender East Mova? No? Okay. Item 003, Community Development Division. Diego Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chair. To the Minister, item 01, salaries and cost of living allowance. Well, we see there's an increase in this particular area, and I wanted to know, does this include staff that would be working on the Empower program, where hundreds of young men that came from various communities and situations where they experienced trials and tribulations, as well as the Empower Her program, which did the same for young women from various communities that were facing particular struggles and helped them get on a very positive path?
No, these are established positions.
These are established positions. So none of these positions are working on these particular programs?
No.
Can the Minister advise if these programs are continuing under her remit?
When you find the relevant line item, you could pose that question there.
Well, it is under community development. So these projects will...
Line item. This is the 5th day of this exercise. By now, the member should know the procedure.
So it's actually that exact same line item, Minister. It's actually that same line item, Minister, because ministry staff worked on these projects in the past. So will they be continuing? Probably the Minister does not know what is happening in her own ministry.
By now, we are beyond song bites. We are down to the people business. Let's get this done.
To the Minister, we do not crave sound bites, we crave answers for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's all we're asking.
And to the member, I am here to do the people's business. Let's continue.
So do it, answer the question.
I did. It's not relevant line item.
No further questions for the Minister. Chair, you
Thank
don't
you.
need to do that. Thank you very much, Chair, for your understanding. Minister, hopefully you can answer further questions.
Of
Thank
course,
you.
will do.
Item 004, Best Village. Member Farima.
Thank you kindly, Honourable Minister. Just bear with me 1 minute.
It's at page 534.
Yes. I really want to go to goods and services, so I'll wait until see if anybody else has, and then I'll go to 02.
I didn't get the question, sorry.
No, I was saying I'm really under goods and services, so I
Okay,
don't know
sorry.
if there's anybody before. So
Okay,
I don't
sorry.
want to. Right.
Sure.
If nobody else, when you go to goods and services, then I'll ask my question.
Thank you. Okay, subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Member Farima.
Mr. Chairman, Honourable Minister, as it relates to 08, could you tell us what building this is, please? Rent lease office accommodation.
1 second, member.
Sure, thanks.
Currently, member, as advised by the Permanent Secretary, rent is Chapso House, Jobco Building, and Nicholas Towers. And we do have staff in Tower C.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, can I, as it relates to item 16, contract employment, could you indicate, as it relates to that item, how many members of staff, how many positions, whether there are any vacancies, and any bodies in any of the positions, please?
Sure, member. Could you give me 1 second? Total contract staff is 302, vacancies 102.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And are you going to be advertising for those outstanding positions
Yes.
on employee TT as well?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, could you provide in writing the list of those outstanding positions, not as soon as possible?
Sure.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, can I now go to item 22, short-term employment? Could you indicate how many positions would be available for that particular item?
Currently, we do have 25 persons employed, but these persons would be given an opportunity to move into the recent the hiring that is ongoing with regards to the ministry.
Okay, so those 25 more or less would take up that $1 million, basically.
Yes.
So that is the full complement as it relates to how many positions for your short-term employment. Thank you.
Same item.
Ruka Lopino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, having regard to your response to the Leader of the Opposition, that you have about 22 vacancies or 22 positions for short-term employment, or 22 persons, 25 persons employed?
25, yes.
25 persons. Those 25 persons, are they, or positions, short-term positions, are they positions that have been approved under contract position that eventually came to an end and is yet to be renewed?
Yes.
Okay. Where have you reached then as a ministry in getting the approval of the PMCD to have those positions renewed?
Being advised by the Permanent Secretary, they have been submitted and we are waiting approval.
So you're waiting approval. And once approval is obtained, well, I guess from the PMCD, you go to Cabinet to get final ratification. At that point in time, then the ministry is going to decide how to proceed in terms of advertising the positions internally or externally.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. So therefore, it is not right to say that these positions are currently being advertised through your employment drive.
The vacancies with regards to the contract employment.
Short-term employment.
Not short-term. We can't advertise short-term.
No. You indicated a short while ago that those persons who have been employed under short-term arrangement, that you are currently looking at your recruitment drive to have those persons fill permanent positions or contract positions. That is what you
Those
said
with life.
in response to the Leader of the Opposition.
So there are those with life. I would have met persons on month-to-month arrangement that was not offered back contracts, but I did not sign contracts. Everything has to go through the HR process. So once advertised, and if there's life in the contract, they could so apply, as I was advised by the Permanent Secretary.
So the response to the Leader of the Opposition, your response was in relation to persons employed on a month-to-month arrangement?
It is short-term, isn't it?
What's that?
Month-to-month is short-term, isn't it short-term?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. So you have indicated, Minister, and I just want to move on quickly. I don't want to belabor the point.
Sure.
I just want to be very clear in what you have just indicated to the Leader of the Opposition. You indicated that the persons who have been employed, the 20-something odd persons who have been employed under short-term employment, in relation, those persons would have occupied contractual positions before, which eventually came to an end. Am I correct?
Yes.
And now you have also indicated that the ministry is now working with the PMCD to have those positions renewed.
Yes.
Go through the normal process to Cabinet.
Yes.
And then once you get final ratification of the Cabinet, those positions would be eventually advertised internally, externally, so that those persons who might be employed will have another shot at being employed under contractual position.
Yes.
So therefore, it is not right to say that at this point in time, you're looking to fill those vacancies via your recruitment process.
All right. So member, as you said, not to label this position. Not each of those are similar. Some are unique. Some of them do have life. Okay, but if you want it in writing, I could provide. So we don't label this issue.
Well, Minister, all right. Yeah, you can provide information in writing, but if some of these positions do have life under contractual arrangement, then those persons cannot be regarded as being employed under short-term arrangement. But we'll move on in the interest of time, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chair.
St. Anne's East.
Thank you kindly. I just wanted to know how many of the vacant positions under contract employment line item 16 are being advertised at this time. All the vacant positions. So the 2 million that is allocated here, would it be sufficient to pay any of the new employees?
Currently the allocation is sufficient, and as indicated extensively throughout this entire exercise, the Ministry of Finance does have the fund with regards to the employment. Once more fund is needed, we would apply.
And the persons who are in line item 22 that are in positions being paid under short term now, but are in contract positions that are being offered these positions, when they move into contract employment under line item 16, will there be funds under there to pay them?
It is the same allocation, and yes, it will be sufficient, member.
So the funds under 16 can pay for persons who are not being paid under there now?
Member, once additional funding is needed, we could vie in. This is a budgeting exercise. And I know the same thing would have been explained at length throughout this entire exercise. If funding is needed, we could vie, we could so request from the ministry.
So has it been under allocated, line item 16?
Chair, could I say asked and answered, please?
What you could say is, what you could say is not answered.
All right,
But that's
let's
okay.
not editorialize.
That's okay.
Let's get on with it, shall we? Item 003, Community Development. Port of Spain South.
You're on pages 536 and 537, yeah?
Yes, we are.
Honorable Minister, could you tell us under community development if item 003, 02003, 16, contract employment, does any persons, bodies related to the Empower Her or the Empower program fall within this category of contract persons will be hired under contract employment under this heading?
Member, could you repeat which line item you're looking at?
I am on page 537, 003, contract employment.
Yes.
Does that contract employment embrace or embody any persons who will be hired to perform the Empower Her or Empower program?
Member, no, this line item does not treat with those employees.
Okay, can I go to short-term employment? Does any person, anybody who will be performing duties under Empower Her or Empower fall under this short-term employment with the $2.4 million allocation?
Yes.
So persons doing Empower, you're telling the Parliament, will fall under, there'll be persons hired under this heading, short-term employment.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Put a note.
St. Anne's East.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I just want to draw the Minister's attention to two things before I ask my question. Under 003, 16 contract employment is $900,000, while short-term employment is $2,400,000. What is the reason that short-term employment is so high in this particular area?
This treats with the regional complexes, and we would have met these persons in these positions, and is something the ministry has to treat with, but is not an exercise where we wanted to let go the warm bodies we met in the position. So I did have conversations, and we will treat with it as we go forward. But we did not, as you like to say, fire anyone in the positions.
I don't know that I like to say fire, Minister. I'm not sure that's one of my favorite words at all. Might be somebody else's favorite word, but not mine. Now, what are the positions that are under short-term in this particular line item?
Could you specify which? Yes, two, right?
2.2, short-term employment.
1 second, please, member.
Is it an extensive list? Because I'd like to know positions and salaries.
I could provide that for the member because,
I'll
as
take
I
it in
said,
writing.
I met these persons there, so I could provide it to the member.
Whether you met them or not, I would like to see what would take $2.4 million in short-term employment when your contract employment is much less than that.
I met these persons in these positions, so I will gladly
Minister,
provide
all I'm
it
asking right
to
now
the member.
is for your assurance
have met
that as
these
minister,
persons.
for the past 6 months, you will provide the persons that are being paid under short-term in this line item. Can I have that assurance?
Member, I will gladly provide that in writing.
That is very, very, very good. Thank you very much.
Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I am quite concerned about the response to my colleague from St. Anne's East by the Minister. The response that I heard on the line item is, I met those persons there. Is that indicative of an intention to fire persons that you met there? Is that what you're telling the
Chair,
population?
I do not
that
appreciate
you met persons
the
there, so you want to get rid of
words
them?
in my mouth.
I am asking a question.
No. Port of
That
Spain
is
North.
your, that is,
The question is, do you intend to fire the short-term persons you found there?
That is not an appropriate question. No. It doesn't arise. Not appropriate.
Why is he shouting?
Not appropriate.
Unfortunately, I have to shout because your colleagues on this side
All
are
right.
rah-rah-rahing.
Okay. Let's tone it down a bit, shall we? Everyone, let's tone it down a bit. Port of Spain South.
A follow-up to my question that I asked under the head item 00322. Could the Honourable Minister provide us in writing the list of persons who will be hired under this heading for the Empower Her and Empower program? I don't need it today, but I need it in writing, please. Can I request that through you, Mr. Chairman, under this head item as a follow-up question?
Chair, what I could tell the member, as the unit was left, so the unit still exists, and that is the...
Chairman.
Query is whether the ministry will be willing to provide it in writing. Is it that you want the names of the persons?
Yes, who will be continuing under the Empower program under this heading?
Well,
yes,
I
continuing.
think you... can I just hazard a suggestion that you... Because you're seeking an assurance, I want it to be circumscribed properly so that there's no allegation in the future that the assurance wasn't complied with. Okay, yes. So is it that you want who will be staying on or who are currently in?
No. Who will be staying on under this?
Chair, I cannot provide that information because this unit has been existed in short term for more than 5 years, and it is the intent of the ministry to take a note to cabinet to formalize the unit and then get the relevant approvals with regards to the salaries. So I cannot give that assurance, and that is fair.
That's why I asked it.
So if they're asking me to keep persons on short term, that is not the exercise of this government.
I have never asked that. She's obfuscating my question.
No. Let's get it clear. You see, the intention of an assurance is a parliamentary accountability issue.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted the assurance to be properly circumscribed, so there can be no allegation if the minister provides the information that she has not complied with the assurance, right? Yes. And that's why I think the question or the request should be more narrowly circumscribed.
Well,
because there can't be...
It's not open-ended, Chairman. It's very narrow.
No, I think it's too open-ended. I think you need to narrow it, and perhaps the minister may give an assurance as to the... I think what is more capable of being complied with is the list of persons today in the program as we speak or something like that.
The list of persons today who continue on the employment in the program. That's fine with me. If I get that, Chairman.
That word continue?
And that's the problem.
Who are in it today?
Today, that's fine. So that's fine.
Monday, these are the persons working under Empower Monday.
Right. I don't see an issue with that.
Thank you,
If
Mr.
we frame
Chairman.
it that way, I don't see an issue with it.
Yes, of course, she is shutting down the program. Yes, thank you. Suffer. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an allegation.
Diego Martin, Northeast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 537, item 02, goods and services. Sub-item, community development division. Sub-item 22. Short-term employment. I've heard the minister say several different things in response to other questions. Some of the things said were, the minister said, I met these people there. Then, I don't intend to send people home. Then, there are warm bodies in place. And then, sort of an argument over whether people will be continued or not. I ain't crossed a minute yet. Now, short-term employment, by definition, cannot exceed a term of more than 6 months. The minister took office on, I think, the 1st of May. So for the last person that the minister would have met there, the employment of that last person would expire in 6 days. Chairman, what's going on? The minister listening?
Well,
The
I'm
last
sure the minister is
person
capable of
that
multitasking.
you, minister, would have met there, as you said, their short-term employment contract would expire in 6 days. There would have been others who would have been on short-term that would have expired in May, in June, in July, in August, September, and in October. And every single person who was on short-term, their contract would have expired by the end of this month. Are you saying that every single person that you met there, whose contract expired in May, June, July, August, and will expire in October, you're going to keep them?
Chair, that question from the member for a unit that have not been formalized and existed since 2021. Yes, these persons and the contract, some did warrant being renewed. I did the honorable thing, something unknown to that side. I did not fire persons. What I said,
Chairman,
and I'm sticking to that.
Unknown to this side means this side is dishonorable. 48.6. That is very, very
2021, this unit have not
Chairman,
been formalized.
I am on a point of
These
order,
persons
48.6.
existed in a short term.
Chairman, point of order 48.6. The member said that we are dishonorable on this side. I don't think.
Shouting at each other. Yes.
Have you?
Stop calling people hooligans.
Mr. Chairman, I still on my questions, while all of this going on.
Can we move along without the exchange of vitriol and the hurling of vitriol at each other?
I haven't been able to move.
Right.
I asked a simple
I think,
question.
all right. I think the minister has answered the question
No,
sufficiently.
sir. I asked if
Whether-
any of the contracts that expired over the last 5.5 months, because they must have, because short-term maximum term is 6 months. So those who expired in May, June, July, August, September, and will expire in October, have you kept all of them?
Chair, that
It
question
did
has
not
been
make use
asked
of, so yes.
and answered.
Yes?
Can
You
we
kept all of them?
please move on?
So nobody? All right.
All right, let's move on.
Once it didn't make new source, they are still employed, so yes.
Wait.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, is the minister saying that there are different... You're allowing this? You're allowing this? And then you want to tell me I shouldn't raise my voice? I can't...
Mr. Chair, if I had the 3.3 million that was paid to new source, I could have hired more and I would have.
Mr. Chairman.
Minister. All right, let's.
You are allowing this?
Let's get some order on that, Minister. I'm going to ask you respectfully to withdraw that. I don't think it's necessary, and it changes the complexion of how we are proceeding this morning.
I withdraw.
Thank you.
So,
all right. So
based on the answer from the minister, I have a supplemental. That means there are certain categories of persons, because you said once they didn't do this, they were kept on, and that implies that if they did do this, they were not kept on. So did you keep everybody?
The minister has answered the question.
No, 3 times.
Yes. I'm
And then
ruling.
she qualified it after.
No, it was not qualification.
What
it was
was
a
it?
somewhat facetious qualification.
Oh, I
Come
see. It was a facetious qualification.
No, come on.
I see. All
Come
right,
on. Stop
all right.
nitpicking. Let's move
I'm
on.
not
Next
nitpicking.
question.
This is serious business.
No.
It is not serious business?
This is serious business. The question is not a serious
You're
question.
saying that my question, whether she fired people, is not a serious question?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying your continuous and unjustified repetition of the question is not warranted. That's all I'm saying.
Very well.
So let's move on. Next question. There go Martin West.
Chair, permit me to say, as one of the newer parliamentarians, I was corrected yesterday on point of order, and I stepped forward and I said sorry and I apologized. On the point of order 48.6, the minister a short while ago said that the members on this side don't know about doing the honorable thing. Chair, to you, I respectfully ask that the minister apologize to the members on this side for that.
Chair, I said I did the honorable thing. I did not say otherwise.
No, Chair, she added to that by saying those on the other side do not know how to. And that is highly offensive, especially as a new member of parliament. It is highly offensive, Chair. And it should be apologized for.
Carry on with this exercise. This is not
going to
tit for
finish,
tat.
you know.
This is the business of the people, and we are here to.
The member is not the chairman of this committee, and therefore a point of order was.
I am speaking, everyone. Okay. All right. Let us move on. All right. Can I have another question? Otherwise, I intend to move to the next item. I'm not going to be drawn into that this morning. Next question. Unless we have a next question, I'm moving to the next. 004 Best Village. Diego Martin, Northeast.
0, 2. No, it's all right. The minister wants to know the line item. I heard that just now. 02, 004, 16. Any of the persons whose short-term contracts expired from May 1st to today, have any of those people that have their contracts not been renewed? It's 16, because they must have expired between May and today. Many of them have all been renewed or some not renewed.
Under this line item, I'm being advised by my permanent secretary that none has expired.
That is impossible. Short-term contracts run for 6 months.
They have all been renewed. Is contract
That is impossible,
16?
Mr. Chairman.
You said 16. 16 is contract.
16 is contract employment. 22.
Contract
It's not short.
22 is short.
22.
Unfortunate that the
22.
minister, it is very unfortunate,
22.
Chair.
Mr. Chairman, 22.
Right, so you may redirect your question.
Under 22, short-term employment, any of the persons who were there, that you met there on May 1st, and their contracts expired over the last 5.5 months, were they all renewed? Or were some of them not renewed?
Member, yes, all was renewed because when we took office, we had programs going on. All the contracts were renewed.
All short-term employment contracts?
All short-term to execute the business of the people was renewed.
Every single one?
Every single one.
That cannot be true. Youth fire 200 of them.
Okay, the minister has given the answer.
Cannot be true.
It doesn't make sense ruling a response, a contradictory response.
Why not?
That
it
this
does not
government
take the point any further.
did that.
The evidence is the answer of the minister, not the contradictory response being hurled across the aisle. Member for Rima.
Minister, having regard to the fact that they were all renewed, can I ask you to provide me in writing, within a reasonable time, the positions and the names of persons whose contracts have been renewed? Thank you very much.
Yes, member.
Chairman, I just want to add.
St. Anne's.
Sorry, I just want to add to that, seeing that it's the same undertaking. I would like to add to that the date of their initial hiring, please.
Chair, I don't know if member opposite think this exercise exercise would bar the ministry from formalizing some of these arrangements, and if they get a certain name on a paper means that concretes the persons in the position. If that is the exercise being conducted.
Chairman, I just asked for an undertaking. Did I get the assurance that that will be provided?
Minister,
That's all. The editorializing, Chair, the editorializing.
yeah.
Minister,
I don't think that could possibly be the intention. So
I think that is the intention.
If you are able to give the assurance, can I ask if you are willing to?
I'm not.
Okay.
Chairman? The minister has a discretion to say that she will not provide the information in writing that is asked for?
Yes, I don't have the power to compel an assurance.
So the country is to understand that the opposition is asking the minister to provide the names of persons under short term when they were first hired and the salaries that are associated with that, and the minister is refusing to provide that.
No. If the minister has given the assurance, she will provide the name and the salaries. What she has not given is an assurance as to the initial date of hire. That's the only thing that falls outside the assurance.
So that important detail, which will show that what the minister is saying is not true, that in fact she did fire short-term people, that is to be taken out. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I understand.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I do not think that this exercise is being conducted fair at my disposition. Because words are being put in my mouth. I gave an answer and the member if a question is being asked of me and I'm providing an answer, how could the member say it's untrue?
And that's what I wanted to.
So it does not make sense I give an answer if the member already knows the answer?
Minister, can you allow me to speak?
Yes, Chair.
It is regrettable and unfortunate that the minister will accuse, that the member will accuse the minister of mendacity. I don't want to repeat the word untruthfulness, but you cannot say, no, untruthfulness is not allowed. No, I'm not going to argue with you on this, but an accusation of untruthfulness is a very serious allegation to make against a sitting parliamentarian. All right? No, the minister never said dishonorable. Let's be clear what is happening here. The minister gave an assurance that she will provide a very narrow item of information. What you then sought to do is widen the scope of it. The minister says, I'm not prepared to do that. She is prepared to give the assurance in the terms dictated by the leader of the opposition, which is entirely within her purview. It is also entirely within her purview to decline to give an assurance for the additional item which you sought. I don't have the power to compel the minister to give any such assurance. I can try my best to enforce the assurance if it is given in the terms it is given on. If you require that information, there are other avenues available for you to obtain that information. But it really is counterproductive to accuse the minister of mendacity in those circumstances. Okay, so let's move on in an orderly manner. All right. Member for Arima. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I propose to call item 005, Mediation Centers, Lego Martin Northeast.
Minister, page 538, 02 Goods and Services, 005 Mediation Center, 22 short-term employment. Can you tell me whether any of the persons that you met there in the mediation center on short-term employment contracts whether any of their contracts expired over the last 5.5 months?
Member, let me ask the Permanent Secretary. I want to be accurate in giving this response.
No problem. That's fine. Must have expired.
Member, and I'm being advised by the Permanent Secretary, the person in charge of keeping the records, that these persons have been re-engaged.
I didn't ask that. I
What
asked
are you
if any
asking,
of
member?
the short-term contracts of employment expired.
Yes, they have been expired.
Okay, and all those that expired were rehired.
Yes, member.
Okay, any new persons hired?
No, member.
I see. I see. Well, I doubt that. I think I could.
48.6, a clear, direct response was provided, and now a clear, direct response was provided by the minister. But the member for Diego Martin Northeast now is questioning the integrity of the response by the minister.
By the Permanent Secretary.
You know, we'd move along very well if there was a hesitation to over-editorialize and shout across the corridor when you don't agree with the answer. All right, Diego Martin Central.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, under 005, can you give me the number of mediation centers covered under this heading?
Minute, please. Seven.
Thank you. And Minister, the staff that populate these 7 centers, these staff are hired under line item 16?
Yes, 16 and the short term as well.
And the short term as well.
Which is 22.
Thank you, Member. And so, Member, are you comfortable that the 500,000 that has been allocated to you under 16 and the additional 100,000 that has been allocated to you under 28 is sufficient to hire and to pay these staff members for the financial year?
Member, again, this is a budgeting exercise, and I know you would have asked these questions on the different ministries. Once more funding is required, we have an exercise that we could vie into the vote. And as you would have seen my tone throughout this, it is not to fire persons met, but it's to just ensure that the work continues. So I will do what is necessary. If I need more funding, we would vie, or I would have a conversation with the Minister of Finance.
So, Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister. Minister, I want to assure you that this is not a political exercise.
No, member, and I did not
Mr.
say...
Speaker, I
Sorry.
have 5 minutes.
I apologize, member.
Thank you.
I apologize.
The reason I'm asking you is simply because I understand the value of these mediation centers, and it ties back to what you said in your opening statement. My point is simply that I just want to know, I'm not asking you if you're hiring or firing people, as part of your exercise to bring figures to bear here and to life, is this 600,000 total enough for the fiscal year? That is the only question I've asked.
Member, and my answer remains yes, because as you could see my tone, and just like what you said, I too value the work that is done. Hence the reason I ensure that the persons remain in the position.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one final thing to tie up. Minister, in 2025, the revised estimate for the mediation center under contract employment was 756,000. That is now down to 500,000. I just want, again, having asked and having gotten the answer from you, I am now assured that should you have to via, because it seems as if you may have to, should you have to via, you will come back either at mid-year or you will for a new amount, or you will via from within your ministry.
Member, rest assured, I had to vie to ensure that they stayed there, and it's an exercise that the commitment is there for all employment.
Thank you very much.
Gregor Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chair. Follow-up question. Does the Minister intend to open more mediation centres?
It's
Yes.
a policy. It's a policy statement, and of course, the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago is something we are treating with. As I said, we value the work that is done by this unit, and we will treat with it in time.
All right, so just looking at item 04 as well. Last year, the allocation was 35,000. It has jumped to 60,000. Can the Minister explain to us the reason for that jump?
Member, could you just direct me to which line item?
004. 005, mediation centre, 04, electricity.
Yes, go ahead, sorry.
There has been a significant increase in that item, almost double. What's the reason for that increase?
I'm being advised by the Permanent Secretaries to treat with some arrears.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister. Going to item number 8, rent lease office accommodation storage.
Yes.
Is it that the Ministry intends to rent less offices? Because previously this item was 1.4 million and now it's down to 500,000.
1 minute, member. Right. Remember, the allocation is sufficient. We do have savings through other rental. As you appreciate, we are moving staff from one building to the next because we are a new ministry. So it is sufficient, as 2 of our rentals are earmarked to exit the contract.
So these rentals do not actually only include the actual mediation centers? Because we are talking about mediation centers.
So as I said, we do have some savings, so the environment, as I said, so we could vie into the vote. So the allocation is sufficient. That was the intent of my answer.
Okay, fair. Minister, in terms of these mediation centers, we understand that because it's mediation taking place, security is of utmost importance. And I'm seeing here a decrease in security services. How can the Minister explain this change in this figure?
1 minute, member. I'm just going to the line item.
Sorry, that is 43?
Yes.
Humble apologies.
Member Farima.
Right.
Thank you kindly, Honourable Minister. In relation to regional complexes 04, are you in a position at this time to say which of the regional complexes, or is that for all the complexes, the 10.3? Okay, 004, current transfers under 005, 004. There is a figure of 10.3 million.
Which one?
Regional complexes.
There is not in mediation. What Member, could you ask the question? There was a little confusion.
Let me just clarify. Mr. Chair, what page are we on?
538.
Okay, so it's the next page. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. My apologies.
Right, so we move now to subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, pages 5, for the avoidance of doubt, pages 539 to 540. Item 001, general administration. Item 002, culture division. Item 003, Community Division. 004, Best Village. 005, Mediation Centers. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. For the avoidance of doubt, pages 540 to 542. Item 005, Non-Profit Institutions. Member for Rima.
Okay, Honourable Minister. Okay, my apologies. This is where I am now. Sorry about that. Okay, so 004, 005, non-profit, and then under 04, there's regional complexes. So that is what I was inquiring from you, whether that allocation is for all complexes, or is it, do you have any specific complexes in mind?
1 second, member. So I'll just get the list then. Right. Regional complexes?
Yes, please.
Right. And the question is, member, sorry?
Yes, you have an allocation of 10.3. So is it that there's any specific request from those complexes? Is that a general figure for every? In other words, how is it, I'm just asking, how is that 10.3 utilized for the complexes? Because I noticed that you would have, for example...
Oh, these are salaries.
Oh, salaries. Okay, thank you. And so, okay, so let me just ask again, as you indicated, so that as it relates, let us say, for example, for 0.5, would that also be for salaries as well? Next, the one after, original complexes.
Contributions to community base.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Chair, this allocation is sufficient. This is... So these are programs and applications usually are made for these.
Oh, okay, all right. So that just bear with me. Operational expenses for community facilities. Contributions to community-based organizations. You are saying there are programs and people would apply to the ministry.
Programs for the community.
Okay, so could you give me an idea of what sort of programs, or is it that the communities are free to, in other words, to make a request that you want to do X program? Is that what?
So these are short-scale programs, the community education programs.
Okay, so that's what you would normally do.
Yes,
like long
and
ago,
they are usually
whether
free.
It's
all are free.
crochet or whatever it
free,
is.
They are all free.
Okay, fine. And so that an NGO can apply to the ministry under this program for a particular...
Under CARE, NGOs could apply to different programs that allow different applications. And yes, we do partner with NGOs to conduct some exercises as well.
Okay, fine. And can I inquire under 07, which is the mediation centers, would that be for salaries?
No.
Okay.
These are for the program. The mediation centers, as you would appreciate, do conduct exercises throughout the course of the year. They have a lot of lecture series, and they do programs as well.
Okay, thank you.
I think Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, under 0405, contribution to community-based organizations, $5.5 million. This is a line item that is utilized to assist, as the name suggests, various organizations throughout Trinidad, community organizations. For example, one may use it to assist small pan sides in a community, correct?
No. So this particular one, so yes, my director of ComDev partner with some institutions to get some exercises done, but this is mainly the courses that is put on by the ministry. So you'll see we advertise a lot of short courses. This will treat to that. And training, okay. Any training exercises.
All right, well, thank you for that clarity. So for example, when you go into a community and you do courses like hairdressing, assisting with learning to do air conditions and that type of thing. Okay, thank you. 0411, contribution to cultural organizations, $5,094,000. This is the line item that you would utilize to assist various cultural organizations, for example, small steel bands, correct?
Yes.
In light of the fact that NGC terminated the sponsorship to 3 very important pan sides, Joylanders from Couva, a pan side in Tobago. You're very familiar with it and aware by your nodding. Are you now in a position to take up that slack and to assist them?
I actually have that in my notes written down as one of the intent, but I could tell you that we are looking for different avenues as well.
Different avenues, hopefully to attract private sponsorship and this type of thing. Minister, may I implore upon you the absolute importance of providing support for these small sides throughout the country, because as you may know, they play a very, very important role. It is not only about the provision of learning to play the pan, etc. Just in a pan yard, the leadership that you learn, etc. So
you could probably give the gratuitous advice in writing. I want to skip along a little bit.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, I haven't even used 30 seconds.
I know.
So, Minister, would you be undertaking to provide the assistance to these pan sides under this line item?
So as I said, conversations are happening, and it is one of the written intent under this line item.
Thank you. And then at 0412, National Museum and Art Gallery. This is the subvention that is provided to the museum just for the running of the museum, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because we do have some serious concerns with respect to what is going on there. Because I don't see any line item in the development program for the continuation or the completion of works. Can you tell us what is going to happen?
So when we reach that respective line item, but the concern goes beyond the building. As you know, the last administration left the artifacts to, I don't want to say ruin, but I'm treating with it. Rest assured that we are treating with it.
But there is no line item to treat with it. So I was asking, is it going to be done under this?
I don't want to answer with regards to the construction, but because this line item is to treat with different exercises with regards to the museum. But at present, the museum construction and the care of the artifacts is presently under review, and audit is being done. And when that exercise is completed, this information would be forthcoming.
So at that stage, you will seek the necessary funding to continue or to do what your audit suggests be done?
Yes, but my main concern right now is the status of the artifacts, which I have a team treating with.
Thank you.
Until East Mova.
Thank you, Chair. Line item 06, operational expenses for community facilities. This is exclusive to community centers.
Member, could you just repeat? Sorry about that.
Okay, line item 06. Operational expenses for community facilities. Is this exclusive to community centers?
Yes.
And does that entail security and manpower to operate the facility?
Yes.
Okay. So every community center, I want to assume throughout the country.
No, member. That is another exercise that this government is treating with. Some community centers have been left to ruin, and plus we have to treat with the councils and what have you. So it's an exercise that we are treating with, but no.
No.
As your colleagues would tell you, no.
No. Okay, so this is operational costs for the community centers, right? So how?
Yes, with managers.
Managers.
Yes.
Okay, so how does one acquire access to a manager for the community center?
Again, member, is an exercise we are treating with. What usually happens is the newly built community centers, managers were placed in them, but again, this government is conducting an audit of the existing centers, and we are trying to treat with it.
Thank you very much.
Malabar Mausika.
Thank you, Chair. Just to follow up to that question, Minister, is there a cost attached to this audit?
Member, at moment, we are doing it internally.
Thank you.
Martin noticed. I'm advised your hand was up.
Yes, thank you very much. Page 458, 04, 005, 06. Minister, am I correct
06.
to interpret what you said?
Yes.
That this item is to pay personnel at community centers? Operational expenses for community facilities. What exactly is that for? I just want to
I'm
get
being
a clear
advised.
understanding.
I'm being advised. Security, watchmen, lights, operational expenses. Yes.
That's for everywhere, right?
No.
Where is it for? Some? All?
Those with managers at present. I just said that.
Those where you, all of those where you have staff.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Could you then explain why the allocation has been reduced from the revised estimate in 2025 by approximately $1.5 million? Do you intend to send people home? It's an easy question. It was $6,330,000 in 25. You now have 4,840,000, and it's people at the lowest levels.
Members, you appreciate these are facilities, and I did say that audit is being done. One of that exercise also entails making the centers more marketable, putting them at a position where they can make profit, and they would not be dependent on the ministry for all their bills.
So the reason
so the funding that you see here is sufficient.
The reason for the $1.5 million cut in allocation, which is about 20%, is what? Are you sending people home? You said it's to pay salaries for people at the lowest end of the spectrum.
Chair, I would have given an answer, and that did not entail firing persons. Why?
Yes, I think that's been asked and answered. Let's move on.
It has not been answered. That's for sure. An answer has been given, but it's not an answer. It's not a proper answer.
Okay. I propose to move to 007 household. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. With regard to line item 11, contribution to cultural organizations, can the Minister indicate if there are outstanding approved applications?
1 minute, Member. One minute. Yes, Member. We do have some outstanding bills.
Could the Minister indicate the quantum in aggregate?
1.2. 1.2.
1.2 million. So therefore, what you really have going forward into this fiscal would be the 5 million, just about 5 million, less the 1.2 you already have in approved applications. Correct?
Some of these bills are from 2024, so I did inherit a lot of bills, but one thing I'm doing is treating. We would have written to the Ministry of Finance, and we would have gotten certain commitment to treat with it. But I would have met bills from since 2024.
Well, that is understandable because it's an ongoing thing. What I would have thought is that having met them, then the allocation would have been increased more than this to account for what you already had approved and what you would have to do moving forward. But if that is not so, that's not so. Thank you.
009, other transfers. Diego Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chairman. So, item 02, National Days and Festivals. Does the Minister see...
Sorry, Chair, sorry to interrupt, but did we pass 007 also? When? I just answered a question under 005.
So I'm going to go to 007 household. That's my mistake. I jumped ahead. My note misled me.
Thank you, Chair. For question on 01.
So, Chair, what page are you on? Kindly, thank you.
Sorry?
What page are you on? Thank you. Sorry.
541.
Thank you. Sure.
My mistake. I apologize. My note misled me.
Okay. Could I proceed?
Yes.
Okay. 01, Community Action for Revival and Empowerment. Are there outstanding applications under this line item, Minister? Outstanding approved applications.
1 minute, member. Member, I'm being advised that we had some checks that were approved and we're just pending the distribution, waiting for accounts to do the necessary batching.
Okay, so if the checks were cut already, it means that it does not impact this allocation. So this is your full allocation going forward.
Yes.
Thank you.
.009 other transfers. Diego Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chair. Item 01, export centers. Now, the previous allocation was $15.6 million. Now it's down to 9.1. Can the Minister explain to us this decrease and where exactly are these export centers?
Mr. Chair, these programs will be carefully streamlined to fit within the allocation provided while still ensuring appropriate service to country, community that is being executed. But should additional resources be needed, of course, we'll vie into the respective. And plus, we have 5 export centers. Member, I hope that answers your question.
Where are the 5 export centers? The Minister just named them.
1 minute. The 5 export centers. These centers are located in Faizabad, Mausika, but I will provide the 5 in writing.
Thank you very much, Minister. I know the Minister of Finance mentioned, the drive to export culture and so on as well and really expand. Now, I want to move to item number 2, National Days and Festivals. This item is allocated $1 million less than last year. Is it that the ministry intends to cut any of our National Days and Festivals funding?
Member, no. Member, this is an ongoing exercise, and this allocation is sufficient. As you would treat how our fiscal year is allocated, some of the respective festivals fall after, we're in October, so we treat with Christmas. So it's an ongoing exercise, the allocation is sufficient.
Yes, but the fiscal year remains the fiscal year. So for the Minister, I ask, does this $4 million include our Independence Day celebrations in 2026? It's a yes or no question, Minister, with respect.
Member, the Ministry of Culture and Community Development usually treat with all festivals, but they are spent from different ministries that is also catered for with regards to independence.
So yes.
So you'll wait the cabinet announcement.
Thank you, Minister.
.011. Transfers to state enterprises. For the Spain North.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I was at 001106, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies, or that's the next one?
That's the next one.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Right, so we go now to subhead 06, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies. Item 004, statutory boards. Honorable members, we shall now move on.
I had my hand. What's that?
Isn't it in this book?
You're going to the next book.
Okay. Honorable members, we shall now move on to the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly. 20, Queen's Hall, subhead 01, Personal Expenditure, item 001, General Administration. Page 557. .557 on this book. So I think you need to switch volumes. Yes,
Thank you very much. Minister, there's an overall decrease when it comes to the sum of money, the subvention for the running of Queen's Hall. And in particular, when one looks under 01, you'd see significant decreases totaling $365,900, so $366,000 for the year, for the next fiscal, with respect to the salaries, remuneration of board members, government contributions, salaries and cost of living allowance, etc. Why is there this reduction for Queen's Hall?
Remember, the allocation is sufficient, and my answer with regards to it remains the same. If more is needed, we would vie, or we. So it remains the same.
Okay, but when you look as well, so you are saying that it is sufficient. It is a very, very tight operation, the running of Queen's Hall. Of course, in Port of Spain, in the north of Trinidad, and you're seeing a decrease of $365, so that's over $30,000 a month being reduced, where they already struggle to make their monthly bills, etc. And you're saying that that is sufficient. How did you come up with that is sufficient?
Remember, you'll remember that these cultural spaces also generate revenue.
Correct, but when you look across the board, you would see that there's been a reduction.
Remember, we also decreased costs with regards to the tent, so we have funding.
Yeah, but tent, you know, don't be misled by your colleagues, right? Because at the end of the day, it's you who's accounting the people. The reduction of cost of a tent that was raised in the budget does not come under salaries. That would come under other costs. That's under goods and services. So don't let the Minister of Finance mislead you to embarrass you.
Remember, all that being what it is, my answer remains the same. We are not in the business of interfering with permanent or established staff, and once we need funding, it will be vied. It is sufficient for now. This is a budgeting exercise.
I'm very aware that's what we're here for. Thank you. Under 01. When we reach to 02, goods and services, I have more questions.
Port of Spain South.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, under the salaries, the same 01101, could you tell the public whether or not staff who worked at Queen's Hall, particularly the ushers, have their contracts been renewed or have they been sent home?
Chair, I've sat here for the last hour and a half, and members opposite are on some sort of witch hunt to look for some sort of mass firings that is not happening. Remember, I sit and I listen to the preamble.
Point of order, Chairman.
All right, yeah, Minister, I think the appropriate answer is either a short
they are
answer.
temporary staff, and they do not know that does not apply to them.
Right.
Chairman, I don't, and I sincerely don't understand the answer. And if I say, Chairman, and the problem may be with me as a simple mind. My question is, the staff, under this are salaries and cost of living. have
It's for permanent staff. The ushers are brought out based on the activities. This does not apply to them.
So, can I find out then, because I did not see under this heading any, particularly under personal expenditure, any, Chairman, you know what? I will go under goods and services, under contract employment and ask. So this doesn't apply to them. I'll go under goods and services next, and I know sometimes there's an allergic reaction to the truth on that side.
Okay,
so I will
forget the
try
editorializing. Let's move on. Let's move on.
reaction to the truth.
All right, let's move on. It's Saturday morning. We're here for a while. Come on. Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much. In an effort to move along, member, under 02 goods and services, 04 electricity, a reduction of $100,000. As you're aware, the running of Queen's Hall depends a lot on the lights, etc., and electricity. Why a reduction of $800? When you look historically, it has always been over the $900,000 range. And I'd like to remind that part of your budget measures, meaning the government's, is an increase in electricity rates, where this would fall under. So with an increase in electricity rates, why are you all reducing the sum of money? Is it that you all want Queen's Hall to shut down? Is that typo? Well, no, RGs, answer the question. Why a reduction of $100,000 when you've raised electricity rents, Minister?
Port of Spain North. Port of Spain North.
So it was the anticipation of the noise that would come to my left.
Yes, but you are far too
from my left.
You are far too experienced, both in here and in another place, to react to noise. Come on.
Question,
right?
And I'll phrase it if I'll be allowed some silence from my friends to the left. With the increase in electricity rates for the next fiscal, which will lead to an increase of electricity rates for the Queen's Hall, why is there a reduction of the allocation of money by $100,000? When you look at it historically, they've always used over $900,000 and at a lower electricity rate.
In all the cultural spaces, we are on an exercise to use renewable energy sources, which are also solar panels. That aside, the lights would not go out, to correct the member with regards to his statements. It's a cultural space, the lights would not go out. The funding is sufficient.
I'm satisfied that question has been sufficient.
You can't install solar panels in next fiscal, but that's fine because you have nothing in your development program. So let us now go to 0216 contract employment. You have reduced the contract employment by over $500,000, $521,000. Is this in an effort to once again reduce employment for the people of Port of Spain?
Chair?
But who said don't answer? You have to answer. The whole exercise is to answer, Hoover North.
Chair, the employment exercise that this government conducts is to employ persons of Trinidad and Tobago, and not only Port of Spain. And there is no exercise to reduce employment. Members opposite would have sat and asked me questions on the various line items, and true, I have not reduced employment. We are on an exercise to increase.
All right.
Thank you very much. So, if I may, Chair, to follow up on that, and I agree with you, employment should be across for all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Would you then show me where is the increase in travel for persons who would come from Tobago to go to a 2-hour event at Queen's Hall for employment? Because we're not suggesting it should be only the people from Port of Spain, but when you study your figures, it seems to be that there is a deliberate... I have 5 minutes. I know you're getting uncomfortable. I am talking about 16. The line item is contract employment. I am there at contract employment, following on in a question, in an answer that was given by the minister. And I understand the uncomfortableness, because we have sat here, as I've heard from my colleagues on the other side, for 5 days. And what we're seeing is a deliberate, laser-type attempt to destroy Port of Spain and to reduce employment in Port of Spain now with
48-6.
Okay.
Standing Order 48-6, an unsubstantiated allegation being made.
Is it?
What, can I? 48-6.
Mr. Chairman, as far as I can recall, and I've been here a little while, as you know,
A standing order was raised.
is imputing improper motive
Yes.
to a member. This is not, we're not talking about a member here.
What are you talking about?
That is,
Are you
that is splitting hairs. It is.
allow the chair? This is a standing order. The chairman has to rule on a standing order. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Participant Note, can I invite you to ask a simple question if you propose to do so?
I understand the use of the word simple.
Just ask a simple question.
Minister of Finance, the chair is directing me to ask a simple question. So the simple question under line item 0216, contract employment, is why are you reducing the contract employment available through Queen's Hall for those who are employable in the environs of Queen's Hall?
Chair, we are not reducing employment.
Right.
The funding is sufficient.
I'll take that to be the answer. Participant South, did you still want to ask your question?
Yes. Honorable Minister, it's an irrefutable fact that you have decreased under heading 02011116 the amount allocated for contract employment for fiscal 2026 by more than $500,000. Could you tell us if this reduction was part of the reason for this reduction was the non-rehiring of the ushers at Queen's Hall, or, Madam, which staff does this reduction apply to then? Who will be sent home?
Nobody would be sent home. Chair to save member opposite this witch hunt. I will provide details of Queen's Hall in writing. What they left is what exists. Nothing has changed.
Okay. I will take it, Mr. Chairman.
I am even willing to submit my notes for one of the ushers to take to the other side. Nothing has changed.
Chairman, I will take the response in writing, and I'm grateful and obliged.
Right, thank you. And I don't think the passage of the notes is necessary at this stage. Right, so there being no other questions on 02, Participant Note jumped ahead. I propose to go to head 3. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases. We've gone to page 558. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, item 007, households. 21, Naparima Bowl. Subhead 01, personnel expenditure. Item 001, general administration. 563, Participant South. Subhead 02, goods and services. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 007, households. 22, National Carnival Commission. Subhead 01, personnel expenditure. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 02, goods and services. Oh, all right, under general administration, Participant North. 569.
Thank you very much. Minister, under 02, line item 49, construction of facilities. There is a reduction of $4,300,000 here for the next fiscal. Is it that there is not going to be the construction of the North Stand for Carnival next year?
Participant Note, I think you've jumped ahead to subhead 02. So I suppose there are no questions on 001. I take it.
I had none and I'd looked across.
Right, so we move on. We're on subhead 02 for the avoidance of doubt. Go ahead, ask your question.
Thank you very much. 49, line item 49, construction of facilities, a decrease of $4.3 million. What is this in relation to? Is it the North Stand?
Member, sadly, no. This question is not...
Sadly, no?
It is not. I know that is what you want to hear, but it is not.
I don't want to hear that.
You cannot...
Okay, what is it for?
Well, allow me to answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, member. So, this question is not about 3 million less. It is about how every dollar is managed. All right? NCC cannot continue on the path of debt and unpaid stakeholders inherited from the last administration. Under my watch, there will be no wastage. So that is what I could tell you, is cutting the wastage. But what you know exists with regards to the greatest show on the face of the earth still stands.
So, in answer to my question, Mr. Chair, the answer is what is the reduction of... My question is, what is the reduction of $4.3 million in relation
to... It is to treat with the corruption and the wastage that exists.
So you are saying that there's corruption and wastage at NCC?
I would have, member, asked and answered. All right.
I didn't hear the answer to that. I just asked the question for the first time. Go on record and say it.
All right, let's move on. Any other questions on subhead 02, goods and services? Member for Rima.
Honourable Minister, as it relates to other contracted services, I see there's a reduction of 2.1 million. Are you satisfied that the allocation that you have would be able to treat with this matter?
Yes, the allocation is sufficient.
And can I inquire from you, what would you normally classify as other contracted services?
One second. So this will treat with sound equipment, light and equipment, screens, projectors, generators, tents, toilets, tables, chairs, flooring, decoration, food, etc.
Okay, and you are saying that that reduction...
As I said, we are cutting out the wastage, so of course, yes, it's sufficient.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Subhead 03, item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 007, households. Item 008, subsidies. National Academy for the Performing Arts. Subhead 01, personnel expenditure. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 02, goods and services. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 03, item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 005, non-profit institutions. 007, households. 009, other transfers. 60, Southern Academy for the Performing Arts, subhead 01, personnel expenditure, item 001, general administration. Subhead 02, goods and services, item 001, general administration. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies, item 007, households. Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of development program, consolidated fund, pages 227 to 229. Item 004, social infrastructure. A, culture. Diego Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chair. So looking at item 001, Museum of the City of Port of Spain Carnival Museum. I'm seeing 2.5 million here. And given that in previous years, there was the allocation for the Pan Trinbago headquarters, is the Pan Trinbago headquarters going to be adopted somewhat in this Museum of Port of Spain Carnival Museum?
This is not the line item for that.
Okay.
So no?
No, the answer is that this is not the line item that deals with that.
No problem, Chair.
Thank you. All right. A, community development. St. Anne's East.
Thank you kindly, Chairman. With regards to line item 005, could the Minister indicate what exactly is the purpose of this 5 million allocation?
1 minute, member. 005. So we're Queen's Hall, right? Mr. Chair, the allocation provided will be utilized to make the final payment. We're on 005 Queen's Hall, remember? That's the one you asked about.
No, I am on 14A001. No, 14A005, sorry. Infrastructure Enhancement Community Recovery Report.
This is in this book.
My 05 is Queen's Hall.
What page are we on?
228.
Development
Draft
program.
estimates of development program at page 228.
Consolidated Fund?
Development program.
Right.
Right, so it's at page 228, Minister. It is the penultimate item on page 228 on the first column.
No, did you move to community development? On 228?
Yes. You identified it, member. You said social and community services, A, community development, item 005. That's what you identified it as.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the right page. 228.
Yes, so am I.
005. Infrastructure Enhancement Community Recovery Report. You on 227, Chair.
Sorry?
I am on 228.
Yeah, so am I. Minister.
So it's not Queen's Hall.
No, right.
No.
So
That's what I'm saying, yes.
Yeah, there's a mix-up. Sorry about that, member. All right. So, Mr. Chair, the 2026 allocation will be utilized for repairs and upgrade works to a number of community centers and facilities. These include, but not limited to, Hindustan, La Gloria, seen here, one of these soup kitchens, the Spree Simon Soup Kitchen. There'll be a center for consideration.
Chairman, could I ask it in writing then?
Oh,
It
sure.
will be easier that way. And could I also add to that under 006, if there are planned works under 006? If you would add that to...
I do have it here, but if the member
It'll be
wants
easier,
it in
it'll be
writing-
better for me to have it in writing.
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Member Farima.
Thank you kindly. Honorable Minister, on the refurbishment of civic centers and complexes, can I inquire whether that is an item under which the First People's improvement of their project, would it fall under here?
No, member, sorry.
Okay, so is there any, I mean, I looked in the last fiscal year and I looked everywhere, I didn't see anything. So is there anything at all for any improvement works?
Member, as you know, that is an ongoing exercise and it is being treated with. We would have met with the First People. I'm just providing an answer.
Yes,
but
sure.
yes, that is being treated with.
But it's not in the estimates as yet, or maybe later on.
It is catered for.
It is catered for, all right. But I just didn't get it. I mean, honestly, I looked everywhere, I didn't see it.
Catered for? It's an ongoing project.
Minister, if you, at some stage, I'm just asking, and I'm happy for the commitment that is being catered for, so maybe at some stage you can point it out to me. I'll be very grateful. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Diego Martin, Central.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, I am at line item 006, refurbishment of community facilities. Minister, can you tell me if under this line item, community centers are also, are covered or addressed?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, they are. Minister, could you tell us what community centers will be covered under this $2 million vote?
Chair, and I have to begin that statement saying that although we do have a list in here, it is not limited to that. We do have to treat with some exercise with regards to priority, because we do have some centers that were left in a kind of deplorable state. But we are treating with St. Augustine South, St. Raphael, Malahambri, Freeport, Vesini, and it's not limited to that. Just now we do have Valencia is under this. There is a facility with regards to Miaro. So we are trying to tend to a lot of the different facilities that have urgent works that is needed.
Okay. Chair, just one follow-up. Minister, as you know, there was a refurbishment of the Cokereed Community Center. Are there any costs that will be covered either under this or in, I believe, a similar line item under your IDF that would be keeping the Cokereed Community Center from being reopened?
As I said, we are doing an audit exercise with regards to all the community centers, and we would treat with the centers them. So rest assured, member.
Okay. Chair, just one last item. Minister, with regards to the Cokereed Community Center, I would have done a walkthrough with staff members of the former iteration of your ministry. Snag lists were identified and they were addressed. So as far as I know, all those issues have been completed and the center is ready to open. If there are any items that are keeping it still to be addressed under these items, I would appreciate if you and I could have a conversation around.
So you're right, member. This did come to my desk. The projects team did treat with all the issues with regards to the snag list. There is just one minor outstanding issue they have to treat with, and they're dealing with it. So rest assured, very soon, and of course, we'll have a nice opening.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. A, administrative services. F, public buildings. Diego Martin West.
Thank you very much, Chair. Under public buildings, previously, this is where the Pan Trinbago headquarters was. I see the restorative works to the former Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts at Gillingham Avenue. The figure has doubled. Is it that there is some alignment between that and the Pan Trinbago headquarters?
That is not the line item. I appreciate the member's fishing.
No, it's not fishing. It's where it was last year. It's not there again, so I'm just asking.
I think we're dealing with this year's line items.
So there's no line item this time around for that? For Pan Trinbago headquarters, Minister?
Member, we are treating with what is in front of you, and that is a matter for the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, and that matter has been dealt with, and wait, you will be invited in time to come.
Right. Shall we move on?
Thank you very much, Minister.
Infrastructure Development Fund, pages 324 to 325. Item 004, social infrastructure. A, culture. A, community development. All right. Honorable members, the question is that St. Anne's East.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, with regards to line item 001 under A, Community Development, for avoidance of all doubt, I'm on page 325. There is 6 million allocated for the refurbishment of community centres. Does the Minister at this time have a list of community centres that will be refurbished under this line item?
Yes, I do, but it is not limited to this. I am a minister that treats with calls from the community council and of course treat with urgent priority, because as it is right now, I do have a tree that fell on one of my roof, so we are not buying to this, but if the member wants this in writing, I could provide it. But I'm putting on records, we are not buying to this. We do treat with it as reported by the projects team.
Thank you kindly. And with regards to construction of community centres, is this line item going to be doing any construction?
Are you seeing the line item, member?
Well, exactly that. I see no line item either. So is the ministry going to be doing construction of community centres? Because there's no line item.
That is our mandate, so yes, member.
So the construction of community centres is not in the IDF here, though? So that will be handled in a different way? Clearly.
Member,
well, it's a rhetorical question, Chair. No answer required.
No, member, as you know, during your tenure, UDCOT usually build the centres. You will be invited to the openings. Yes, Chair?
Malabar Mausika.
Thank you, Chair. On the same line item 001, can the Minister indicate if the Samaru Village and Karapo community centres are on your list to be refurbished?
Repeat, member, sorry.
The Samaru Village and Karapo community centres, can you indicate if those are on your list to be refurbished?
Not before me, but as I indicated, we are not bar into this. We do treat with it with regards to the urgency.
So just follow up, Minister, if I write to you on those community centres, can they be added to the list?
Of course, we will send out the project team and they will do the necessary evaluations and good consideration would be given.
Greatly appreciated.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $436,362,700 for head 86, Ministry of Culture and Community Development, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum of $436,362,700 for head 86, Ministry of Culture and Community Development, now stands part of the schedule. Minister. Thank you very much, and on behalf of the Parliament, I wish to express my gratitude and thanks to your staff. We are sorry and apologize for having inconvenienced you on a Saturday morning.
Chair, if you would permit me, I too would like to express my gratitude to the dedicated technocrat staff of the ministry, and of course, as you said, this Saturday morning that they came out. Thank you again.
Yeah. Head 14, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. Yeah? How long will it be? Huh? You cover? Marvin, once you get he involved, once he don't get involved, you go matter reasonable time. All right, let us give the Minister and his staff some time to convene. Why you dragging my stuff away? Marvin? Why is a member dragging my staff away? Minister, can you kindly indicate when you're ready? Shall we go? Okay. Head 40, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, $550,406,100. I will now invite the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries to make a brief opening statement. And I don't think I need to remind him it should not exceed 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, colleagues. It's an honor to present to this committee, and I'm joined, of course, by the very distinguished member for Point Fortin and Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, our Permanent Secretary and other senior members of our staff join us as well this morning to present. Mr. Chairman, the energy and mineral sector continue to play a crucial role in driving the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. This sector remains critical to our development, and it is our responsibility at this time to effectively manage, regulate, and oversee this sector on behalf of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the resource owners. At the outset, our government reaffirmed the significance of the energy sector to the social and economic development of our nation. The government, ably led by the visionary member for Siparia, Prime Minister the Honourable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, declared its intention to take a more proactive approach to reaffirm the country's position as the energy hub of the region. This was done by leveraging our tremendous experience, our human capital, our infrastructure, our location, and our strong regional and international relationships. The revitalization of this sector will necessitate the adoption of strategic energy policies designed to optimize our hydrocarbon resources. Mr. Chairman, we intend to ensure that the citizens of our country receive fair economic benefits while simultaneously allowing our investors to achieve reasonable profits. Current investments are forecasted to incur capital expenditure of an estimated $10.2 billion United States dollars through 2027. The bulk of these investments stem from negotiations with the upstream oil and gas companies. Mr. Chairman, you will note that we inherited a sector that was in a steady pattern of decline from 2015 to early 2025. There was a significant decline in oil production and gas output, and indeed a demobilization of the human resources in the sector. Mr. Chairman, in the 6 short months we have been there, we have been able to renegotiate with several of the key and principal players to ensure that several of our gas projects are expanded, and indeed we get greater value. We were pleased within the first few months to announce the Manatee Plus project, which dealt with a 10% increase in production rates over the previous production target. Mr. Chairman, in the 6 short months we have been there, we are extremely pleased to note that under our watch, ExxonMobil returned to Trinidad after 22 years to participate in deep water drilling. Mr. Chairman, we also noted that we were able, very quietly, but in a very sustained manner, guided by the Honourable Prime Minister, we were able to achieve what the last government lost. They lost it, we got it, the OFAC license to continue exploration, development, planning and negotiations with all stakeholders on the Dragon Gas project. We did not, unlike the former administration, place all the eggs in one basket. We are working on several major gas projects at this time, of which the Dragon is one, and that we will be dealing with in the coming days. Mr. Chairman, as well, you will know that we are in the process of a deep water bidding process around, and we will also release some information on that. Pursuant to our mandate and vision of recreating Trinidad and Tobago as the energy hub of the region, we are in sustained discussions with the government of Grenada governments in Guyana and Suriname in the region to deepen our strategic interface and partnership across the CARICOM territories. Mr. Chairman, another major initiative which I would like to indicate is that we are working with all local and foreign stakeholders to ensure that we conduct exercises and improve the ease of doing business in the energy sector. We believe that we can have an additional value of 120 million United States dollars per year only by reducing the time, the red tape, and the bureaucracy of dealing with the energy projects. So, Mr. Chairman, I would add more as we go along, depending on the questions that are raised on this matter. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $550,406,100 for Head 40, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industry, stand part of the schedule. This sum of $550,406,100 for Head 40, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of development program. We now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure to be found for the avoidance of doubt on page 273 of the relevant volume. Subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure, Item 001, General Administration. Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I was glad to hear the long run-up on the précis by the Minister, and in particular how he intends to deal with the industry, because the whole country is seeing one of our largest producers at Point Lisas pick up their bags and leave because of his mismanagement of the industry, which takes me directly to 0101. Minister, can you tell us how many positions on the permanent establishment exist at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries?
Thank you. May I? Yes. Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, Chairman. And to respond to the member in an unrelated part of his question, but I'll respond. May I just remind the member that under his administration, several plants, including the M1 plant Proman, closed in November 2016. They closed an entire refinery in November 2018. Yara Brown was closed December 2019. Atlas plant methanol closed September 2024. The gas plant phase 2 closed December 2024. And I can go on and on and on, but it's not necessary. I just want to tell the member, because it may come back again later in the proceedings, that we are in discussions with Nutrien. It is very sensitive, and we expect that we'll get a great opportunity to revitalize our partnership, our strategic partnership, not only in one area, but in several areas pursuant to our diversification agenda. In terms of the real question the member had, the number is 290, of which 146 would be permanent, with bodies 71 and without bodies 73.
Sorry, my question was how many permanent positions exist? You said 290, and then you went on to say 146 are permanent. I didn't ask about contract. How many are permanent positions?
It's 290. 90 with 146 appointed.
Thank you. So therefore you have, is that where you said that you have how much vacant?
How much is vacant? 144 vacant.
Thank you. And then to move now, because you've had a decrease of $1.7 million in your 01 line item, salaries and cost of living allowance. Is it that you don't expect to fill those vacant posts?
I'm instructed that the 1.7 3.7 decreases due to the arrears that we would have paid pursuant to the SRC.
So with that being the case, then we go to line item 08, vacant post salaries, COLA without incumbents. And you have an increase, because it's the first time it's appearing, of $200,000. Well, when I say first time it's appearing, it didn't appear in 04 or 05. What is this in respect of?
For positions that we expect to be filled by the DPA in the coming fiscal.
What positions are those?
Petroleum Inspector 1, Senior Chemical Engineer 1 and 2, and the Petroleum Engineering Assistant, among others.
Do you currently have the position of the CTO filled? Are you intending to fill that position?
We intend to fill the position. Yeah. We intend to, as a matter for the Service Commission as well.
Now let's go to line item 14, remuneration to members of the cabinet appointed committees. What cabinet appointed committees do you have?
We have the same committees that were there prior to April 28, the Minerals Advisory Committee, the EITI Steering Committee, and the Local Content Committee.
What about the Refinery Committee?
That committee is existing and is being supported by Heritage.
So that committee does not fall under this line item, remuneration to members of cabinet appointed committees?
No, it does not.
Was that committee appointed by cabinet or appointed by Heritage?
The committee was appointed by cabinet.
So you're now telling us, because you put in a very strange proviso there that is being supported by Heritage, is it being paid by Heritage?
PHL, it has been supported in terms of stationery and whatever they need, and also
TPHL is a holding company. Heritage is a subsidiary of TPHL.
It has been supported by Trinidad Petroleum Holding Limited in terms of support for stationery and whatever they need, plus stipend.
So the cabinet appointed committee for this refinery committee that you all have touted is being paid by TPHL or by Heritage, because they're two separate legal entities. And TPHL really does not have any income.
Chairman, could I indicate that I've said to the member that the Refinery Restart Committee is being supported by TPHL. He has asked for the list of committees under 14, which we have given, and has gone on another matter. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Well, Mr. Chair, with the greatest of respect, that my question was, let's go it over again because the minister is becoming a little confused. My question was, is the refinery committee, first question, is the refinery committee appointed by cabinet?
Refinery committee is appointed by cabinet. I said.
And then we go to then we go to this line item 14, remuneration to members of the cabinet appointed committees. There's been an increase of $254,700. So therefore, the next question I ask, which is in accordance with what is the normal procedure for payment of persons by the state, is that cabinet committee being paid by the Ministry of Energy under this line item? I'm not asking about support. Are there the amounts for the members of that committee being paid under this line item by the Ministry of Energy?
May I indicate, and there's no confusion here, when the committee was appointed and we looked into the figures at the ministry, we did not have sufficient resources to support the committee. And the cabinet decided to appoint this committee, and the entity, TPHL, in collaboration with Heritage, gave the support by way of stipend and other resources. The ministry, central ministry under that heading, did not have the resources necessary.
So, Mr. Chair, with the greatest respect, the minister seems to be avoiding the question. I asked, Mr. Chair, I asked, are the committee members being paid by the Ministry of Energy under this line item?
The
The minister then goes to support. I'm not asking about support. Are the stipends being paid by the Ministry of Energy under this line item?
The answer to that was no.
And then the question becomes, he brings in TPHL and Heritage, two separate legal entities. Which entity is paying the stipend?
I don't think
of these?
that arises under this line item. Let's move to another line.
No, hold on, Mr. Chair, with the greatest of respect. With the greatest of respect.
I've ruled on that issue. The answer to that is in remuneration to members of cabinet-appointed committees. The minister has outlined the
that this committee is not being paid under this line item.
That's the answer. So we could,
right?
You know very well you could get that information otherwise.
So therefore, we have this anomaly that they are being paid. Is it by TPHL or is it by Heritage?
No, I've ruled. The minister has answered the question. Come on, let's move to another line item.
So let's go now to 23, line item 23. Salaries and direct charges. There's been a decrease of the salaries. Now, direct charges are for specific officers, meaning that it comes out directly from the consolidated fund, correct?
Could you ask your question, please?
But I did ask the question. Under line item 23, salaries, direct charges, the direct charges means that it comes out, there's certain positions that are paid directly from the consolidated fund. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So what are these reductions of $986,000 for the next fiscal?
Dealt with arrears for the SRC that don't arise again.
So there was an increase previously to pay the arrears of these officers who are paid directly from the consolidated fund based on the SRC, the acceptance of the SRC recommendations.
Yes, there was an increase.
Thank you very much. Go on.
Subhead 02, Goods and Services, item 001, General Administration, Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much. Minister, the information we have is that on the arrival of the two ministers at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, the ministers have asked that additional offices be set up for them in the south of Trinidad, and that they're now running two offices, both for yourself and for your junior minister, at the cost of the taxpayers. So looking under this, at line item 0204, electricity, I see an increase of $82,000. Is that so that yourself and your junior minister can have offices in South Trinidad as well?
What do you have against South?
I have absolutely nothing against South. It is a question being asked. It is a question being asked. There is a Ministry of Energy, a Ministry of Energy at the towers here, and now there are offices being set up for the two of you all in South Trinidad, and you all don't come to Port of Spain. I am asking a question. Is this additional electricity to fund your offices in the south of Trinidad? I don't care if you have offices in Tobago. I want to know on behalf of the taxpayers if this additional cost is because you have an office now in South Trinidad.
Okay, there's no need to shout. There's no need to shout the questions. There is no need to shout. We have microphones. We're about not more than 15 feet apart. Hold on, Minister. There's no need to shout. Okay?
To cater for arrears to TNTech from the arrears left by the member for Port of Spain North and St. Anne's West. He did not pay his light bill.
And there are two offices.
And that is what the increase is for. If he had paid his bills and not run away without paying, we would not have an increase here. And could I, just for the record, because I believe the mischief is afoot.
Yes, of course.
All right,
the South offices, there has always been the office of the Ministry of Energy in San Fernando. First on, and the member may not have been familiar with the offices in South Trinidad. And what has happened is we now have made accommodations for both ministers to conduct business and to meet the players in the energy sector in South, which is much more convenient for many folks
instead of coming into Port of Spain with traffic and wasting time to and from. So that is for the convenience of the sector and the stakeholders who appreciate that they can now see one or two ministers at the drop of a hat to conduct business.
Thank you very much. So the answer is yes, at a cost to taxpayers.
But there's no new cost.
Am I allowed to finish? But you've just said that they have now expanded because there were not two ministers of energy before. Mr. Speaker, may I be allowed to ask my questions
ask your
in
questions.
silence?
Let the member ask his question. In relative silence. Let the minister ask his question.
I am now on line item 08, which is rent, lease, office accommodation, and storage. I understand why there is a sense of anxiety, because the truth is they have increased the costs to the ministry.
That's why you're inviting just ask a question.
Well, I am. I'm allowed 5 minutes to ask my question and to precede my question the same way the minister is not answering questions but comes with long précises to try and extricate himself from the difficulties he's found himself in. So now at line item 08. Line item 08. Office accommodation and storage. There was one office for a minister before in Port of Spain. There are now 4 offices, 2 in Port of Spain and 2 in San Fernando, where we all know there was a Ministry of Energy at all times. What is this increase of rent of $150,000 for? Line item 08.
Again, Mr. Chairman, this increase is to pay arrears of rent that are owed.
Arrears for
we
where?
entered office. This has nothing to do with new rental for new offices. The offices were there already, and the former administration, the former minister, failed to pay the bills for rent. So we had
the former minister never renovated his office the way you have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars renovating offices now. And if you're unaware, all of the major players in the energy sector are in Port of Spain.
Port of Spain North. Enough.
No rara.
Listen. This is needless, heedless, and useless quarreling. Just ask questions. Yes, but...
So let's go now to line item 16, contract employment. And there's now an increase in contract employment by $1.5 million, another increase to the taxpayers. Would the minister kindly advise what this increase is for?
Mr. Chairman.
Ramdeen?
Sorry.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, no.
Come on, Port of Spain North. That's entirely inappropriate. It is.
What is the increase for?
Chairman, the ministry currently has 132 contract positions. The ministry will be aiming to fill some of these vacancies, 82 vacancies in fiscal 2026, with a focus on management positions in the technical divisions, including energy research and planning, energy information management and technology division, the petroleum operations management division. The increased allocation will also be utilized to cover expenses arising if approved terms and conditions from the CPO are higher than the approved interim salaries being paid to officers. That is the explanation.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, would you provide us with a list of all of the vacancies and all of the positions that you intend to fill in writing?
Yeah. We'll look and see if we can get that information to supply to you and members in due course.
Thank you very much. Minister, let's go now to line item 23. Fees.
22, yes.
An increase of $984,800. What is this being utilized to do?
Advice is to facilitate the payment of audit fees, legal fees, and brokerage fees related to the ministry's operations.
Thank you. And now if we can go to line item 28, other contracted services. An increase of $52.8 million. What is this in relation to?
Chairman, I'm advised this is to facilitate the payment of services to contractors for designated oil spill cleanup operations from unknown sources and closing costs associated to the Tobago oil spill cleanup operations, as well as further contingency funding for effective operational responses for any future environmental hydrocarbon events. Other services covered under this item include consultancy services, technical studies, software maintenance, sampling and testing for minerals division, production of extractive industries transparency initiative reports.
So it is one of the items that is meant to cover is the cost related to the oil spill in Tobago from February 2024, if I remember correctly, or 23. Yeah?
On that.
Are we recovering through the IOPC? Are we recovering sums of money, and can you tell us what those sums of money are so far?
Yes, we are in a process with the IOPC to recover. We have submitted a claim.
We submitted claims. How many?
For roughly $311 million. They have reviewed 125.6 million, offered 56.1, and paid so far 31.8 million.
All right, and the exercise will just continue.
It's continuing.
Thank you. Well, the extraordinary expenditure, which I didn't ask about, would have been related to presumably it would have also been related to the oil spill expenditure. I didn't mention it. I didn't ask a question either. Let's go to line item 57.
That was used to pay NGC, $183 million to the NGC. That the NGC spent on the Train 1 when they were advised not to spend.
Minister, well, I'm glad you. I'm glad no.
Go back and pay NGC that.
I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you've opened that up because that was payment to NGC for the sums of money that the government recovered from Shell and BP related to the closure of Train 1 that was paid to central government and then paid over to NGC. So there was no loss related to Train 1. But of course, you wouldn't know that because you're not running the sector.
Okay. You know, all right.
Line item 37. Line item 37, janitorial services. And I can see why there's been an increase in janitorial services, hearing the utterances of the minister this morning.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, if you'll allow me an intervention on a housekeeping matter.
Yes?
The member's behavior continues to be reprehensible, out of touch and totally unhinged.
Okay.
And Chairman, we have been enduring this for 5 days now, and there's no repercussion.
And before that, 10 years.
There's no repercussion. All we keep hearing is members behave. But it cannot continue that this member is totally unhinged.
I am trying my best to draw a delicate balance between keeping discipline and allowing constituents through their members to ask questions and interrogate this budget document. But there has to come a time when we have to realize we're on the final day, that we're just taking an extraordinary amount of time in matters which are really does not assist the process. Okay? So if we could just move on now, ask questions, please do not inject personal vitriol and invective into the questioning process.
Line item 61, insurance. We have seen an increase of insurance from 2024, it was just under $61,000. 2025, it was $62,000. Revised estimate of $46,000. We are seeing a huge increase to $620,000 under insurance. What is this in relation to?
Mr. Chairman, I'm advised that the insurance figure here is to support the use of the synthetic aperture radar systems in Port of Spain and Chaguaramas for monitoring oil spills, as well as insurance coverage for field officers in the ministry's technical divisions.
Using the radar system now, the insurance for it is going to be around this cost of $620,000.
I'm so advised.
Thank you. Next, 75. Sorry, that's it for under 02, Mr. Chair. So now next one is 03.
All right, I'm assuming no one else has any questions on this. So I'm going to go ahead now to subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, page 275. Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much. No questions under that,
Thank
Mr.
you
Chair.
very much. So we go now to subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies, pages 275 to 276, item 004, international bodies. Item 007, households. Item 009, other transfers. Item 011, transfers to state enterprises. Okay. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program, consolidated fund, page 117. Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. A, administrative services. Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much. Minister 09005A003, renewable energy efficiency initiatives. This year allocating $5.3 million. What project is this in relation to?
This, I'm advised, is the project associated with the installation of a solar PV system at the Port of Brighton to be funded under the PSIP.
This is the Labidco project to make it a green port.
Correct.
Thank you. And then under G, the synthetic aperture radar system. Is this now going to be complete in this year, seeing that your insurance now is kicking in?
It has been completed. This figure is for maintenance and repairs at the Chaguaramas installation.
And is being managed out of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries?
Yes.
Thank you.
You do realize you jumped ahead to G, so I'm going to go to Infrastructure Development Fund at page 269, item 003, Economic Infrastructure. D, Industry. Right. So, honorable members, that concludes that. The question is that the sum of $550,406,100 for Head 40, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. The sum of $550,406,100 for Head 40, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industry, now stands part of the schedule.
Express my gratitude to the permanent secretary and members of the staff at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, the minister in the ministry himself, Mr. Kiza. May I also thank the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance for the budget allocation to the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. And of course, we want to say a special thank you as well to the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for the lowering of the price of gasoline, super gasoline, by $1, and to express the gratitude of over 400,000 consumers of super gasoline that they have saved monies. And this year budget, Mr. Chairman, came at a time when historically people would go and fill up their tanks because they were in mortal fear of the member for Diego Martin Northeast. This year, they fill up their tanks and then lost money because the price of gas went down for the first time in memory So we are extremely pleased that we were able to
Chairman, what line item is this?
all members for their cooperation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, tell him thank you.
Okay.
I'm finished.
I too should like to thank the members of staff of the Ministry of Energy. We apologize for having to bring you out on a Saturday, but the holiday intervened and 5 days are set aside, and today, unfortunately, you fell on the 5th day. So my apologies. Thank you very much and our gratitude. All right. Marvin. Members, I had proposed to take the lunch break now, but I have been assured that we can press on with CARICOM Affairs, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, and I'm getting some opposition on the other side. Well, unless there's agreement, I propose. Okay, well, we take the lunch break now. We return at, I don't propose to take an hour. I propose to take 45 minutes. So I want to come back here at 1:10
Chair, I appreciate what you're saying, but what we have found it a bit difficult when there's so many members in the tea room to serve all at the same time is a bit difficult. So I would ask for the 1 hour, please.
Perhaps I'm being insensitive because I eat alone. So, okay, we'll come back at 1:35. Thank you all very much. We suspend.
The chair. This meeting of the Standing Finance Committee hereby will resume. We move now to Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, $269,403,500. I will now invite the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs to make a brief opening statement, not exceeding 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, let me begin by thanking the Minister of Finance for his brilliant budget presentation and for his recognition of the work of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, which was captured in a section of the budget statement relating to improving our place in the world through global partnerships, strengthening ties, expanding opportunities. I also wish to thank the Minister of Finance for the fiscal 2026 allocation under the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and under the draft estimates of the development program under Head 65 Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. These allocations are more than the 2025 revised estimates and are also greater than what the accounting unit is projecting the total expenditure of the ministry to be as at the 30th of September 2025. This increased allocation is reflective of the confidence this government has reposed in the country's foreign ministry. Mr. Chairman, the initiatives presented under this year's budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs reflect a ministry that is undergoing transformation into one that is actively seeking to make Trinidad and Tobago safer, stronger, and more prosperous via engagement bilaterally and multilaterally at headquarters through 17 diplomatic missions and 3 consulate generals. Given the specific purpose and mandate of this Standing Finance Committee, as opposed to other bodies of the Parliament, myself and a team from the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs are happy to provide any additional information or explanation from members of the House in order to facilitate a better consideration of the draft estimates of expenditure under Head 65. I equally take this opportunity to thank the Parliamentary Secretary, my colleague from the constituency of Mayaro, staff of the Ministry at headquarters and at the overseas missions, who continue to offer yeoman service to this country by raising the flag of Trinidad and Tobago high through promoting our country's interests. They do so tirelessly in an ever-increasing, dynamic global environment, and for their efforts, I express sincere appreciation. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $269,403,500 for Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, stand part of the schedule. This sum of $269,403,500 for Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of development program. We shall now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. This is to be found at page 355 in the respective volume. We start at subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure, item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Overseas Missions. Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Overseas Missions. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Overseas Missions. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 001, Regional Bodies. Item 002, Commonwealth Bodies. Item 003, United Nations Organizations. Item 004, Households. Item 009, Other Transfers. Item 010, Other Transfers Abroad. Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of development program. Item 005, Multi-sectoral and Other Services at page 161. A, Administrative Services. F, Public Buildings. Infrastructure Development Fund, item 005, Multi-sectoral and Other Services, page 292. F, Public Buildings. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $269,403,500 for Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum of $269,403,500 for Head 65, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs now stands part of the schedule. Minister, may I thank you. On behalf of the Parliament, I wish to thank your staff who might have worked, I am sure, worked tirelessly in preparation.
Mr. Chair, I would also want to join and thank all the staff of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, all our divisional heads, our permanent secretary, deputy permanent secretaries, and other divisional heads who are currently here with us, who work tirelessly on preparing these documents and also preparing for today's sitting.
Thank you. And I want to apologize for them for the inconvenience we must have caused them and their families by having to come here on a Saturday. But it was unavoidable.
Grateful, Mr.
Thank you all very much. Yeah. Okay, our next head is the Office of the Prime Minister, so let's just wait for the technocrats. When you all are set. Yes. 5-minute statement, Honorable Prime Minister. All right. Ready? Okay. Head 13, Office of the Prime Minister. Head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, $522,702,600. I now invite the Honorable Prime Minister to make a brief opening statement for a maximum of 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to address this Honourable House as we really wind up now on deliberations pertaining to the fiscal 2026 package and here now in the Finance Committee. If you would permit me, sir, I want to say thanks to you, Honourable Speaker, and the members of the parliamentary staff who've been here all of this week and some of last week, and we thank the staff and the Speaker of the Parliament. I would like to thank the Minister of Planning and the Minister of Finance and all other ministers together with their staff from the various ministries who have labored long and hard to make this package to bring to this House. So can we thank them as well? I take time to thank all those persons who sent in suggestions, concerns, recommendations. We thank them as well. And today I want to thank the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, P.S. Barrow, and her team who have been working exceedingly hard. And I thank those persons who are in the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister Barry Padarat, Minister Darrell Allaha, Parliamentary Secretary Wilfred Morris. We want to thank all of them for their contributions. Mr. Speaker, over the last several days on fiscal 2026 in the House, I'm happy to come after two former prime ministers in one fiscal year following into the other. I thank you. And this debate and this exercise is remarkable in several ways. First, we have an absolutely new government, and we have a new opposition on the other side. This is the first time in my memory that a prime minister has come to the Standing Finance Committee to account to the nation. And not so remarkable, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that maybe once or twice in our history as a parliament that the opposition collapsed in the debate and abandoned their constituents. So, Mr. Speaker, in this fiscal year, the national budget allocated about $553 million to the OPM, comprising TT 494.1 million in recurrent expenditure and 29 million under the Consolidated Fund and 30 million through the Infrastructure Development Fund. This, Mr. Speaker, represents a substantial 66% reduction from the revised allocation to the OPM of TT 1.266 billion under the former prime ministers and for fiscal 2025. So we have reduced in this in allocations by 42% recurrent expenditure, with the Consolidated Fund by 10%, and the IDF reduced by 92%. This recalibrated allocation reflects the significant shift in the office's mandate and operational focus for the new fiscal year. And how were we able to do that? Yes, there are several reasons for reducing the allocations to the OPM. One had to do with the removal of certain items, line items, divisions from the Office of the Prime Minister, so a reduction. The other had to do with taking note of what happened in the last fiscal and beyond. For example, when we look at the cutting off of waste, corruption, and mismanagement, we saw that last fiscal, about $50 million were allocated for official entertainment, jointly, official entertainment, and for hosting of functions. I remember last year, we were very concerned about that, about fetting and hosting and so on, and we spoke out against it. We took note of that. We have to cut that out because we are in fiscal times that need more discipline and more attention to people-centered development, so we cut the allocations in those two, and of course in several others. Because you see, Mr. Speaker, we are very aware that beyond policy design, is someone saying something, sir?
I don't know.
Nothing. I will claim injury time. I'll claim injury time. Someone seems to be trying to disturb me, but I will not be deterred. I will continue. As a government, we are acutely aware that beyond policy design, implementation, efficiency, and delivery remain areas where citizens expect improvement. It is for this reason that the OPM has been deliberate in shaping our proposals for fiscal 26 to strengthen execution capacity, to modernize systems, to eliminate inefficiencies, and to ensure that government services reach people in a timely and meaningful manner. Mr. Speaker, the allocations before this House reflect a balanced and intentional program built on 4 pillars for the OPM and, of course, for our government. 1, strengthening executive leadership and institutional effectiveness, including critical investments such as the Whitehall Companion Building, the Visitor Management System, the OPM ICT plan, which will strengthen coordination, improve security, and enhance public service delivery across government. 2, driving strategic oversight in national security and foreign policy.
Mr. Chair, I think the Prime Minister has 5 minutes to do an opening remark.
Yes,
and
I
the
do.
5 minutes is up.
Mr. Speaker, I'll be guided.
I will give you 2 extra minutes in my discretion. I have given everybody...
Under what rule? Under what rule? Under what standing order, Mr. Chair? Under what standing order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Under what standing order, Mr. Chair?
The longer you speak is the more interview time I'll be entitled to. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Yes, no.
We look forward to...
Speaker, we're claiming...
But it's not fair to us because you have consistently, with every single member here, told us when... we could have asked, at least...
I have not restricted anyone from speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will not detain you longer, except to say we are committed to serving the people with people-centered government, unlike the other side. We will not be distracted. We'll continue to create jobs, diversify the economy, and
Okay, so
ensure
the time is
a prosperous time for this nation. I thank you very much.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $522,702,600 for Head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, stand part of the schedule. This sum of $522,702,600 for Head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly, and the draft estimates of the development program. We shall now consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, which are to be found at pages 55 to 57 of the relevant volume. Subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Gender Affairs Division. Item 003, Communications. Item 004, Government Printry. Item 005, National Archives. Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Port of Spain North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, under 02, 001, General Administration, line item 16. Having just heard the Prime Minister tell the population that she is reducing allocations at the Office of the Prime Minister, would the Prime Minister kindly explain at line item 16 why contract employment has been doubled? So it is now at $22 million, an increase of $11 million, historically being at $12 million.
Secretary, additional positions that have come into the OPM, as other items, line items, and departments and divisions have come in, and these need to be filled.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, this is under general administration, so this is not under the communications, it's not under gender affairs, etc. What additional divisions have come under general administration of the Office of the Prime Minister?
I think there's an interjection by Minister of Finance.
The Honourable Prime Minister was responding to a particular question raised by the member, and he interjected with another question. Can I request, sir, through you, that members allow the Prime Minister to respond to questions that they have asked fully? Thank you.
All right. So here's how I propose to do this. We ask questions, get the answer. If there are follow-up questions, ask specific questions.
Thank you very much.
So that we have some structure and order.
Mr. Speaker, I did, and I apologize if I didn't, and I cut the Prime Minister short, so maybe we could repeat it. Having said that you're reducing allocations and reducing, I am allowed 5 minutes. I know you all get nervous when the Prime Minister is here, but you're okay for today.
Prime Minister was responding to your first question.
So under 02 line 02001, line item 16, contract employment. Honourable Prime Minister, traditionally under contract employment at the Office of the Prime Minister has been an allocation of $12 million. That has now been increased to $22 million, an increase of $11,400,000. Would you kindly advise, and of course this is under general administration, it's not under any additional division brought into the Office of the Prime Minister, this is contract employment. would you kindly advise what new contractual posts are going to cost $11.4 million?
Mr. Minister. Member, sorry. Perhaps you didn't get enough time to spend in the office of the Prime Minister.
So is that the answer? So this is my pension then?
If you did, I have not completed my answer. I have not completed my answer.
Is the Prime Minister going to provide an answer, sir?
Yes.
I will answer you.
That's why I said ask questions. Let the Prime Minister, let the answers come so we don't interject.
And so maybe if you did, you would have found out, as I'm advised, that these contract positions, there were 205 total contract positions, and filled positions, and the vacant ones are 117. Wow. So fill 205. So in order to fill these positions, given our national recruitment drive, we have to put more money. You spend days asking the Minister of Finance, where's the money? Where's the money to fill these positions in the OPM?
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Prime Minister,
I can give you a list, if you like, of all the positions.
would you kindly do that? Provide us with a list in writing of all the new additional contract positions. Thank you.
It here and we'll provide.
Can we now go to line item 27, official overseas travel? Official overseas travel has been increased by $9 million for the next fiscal. $9 million from a traditional $2 million or $1 million. Can you kindly advise the country what this additional $9 million under official overseas travel is for?
This was line item 27.
27.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, line
50.
item 27 raised by the Honourable Member. Yes, there's an allocation of 9 million.
10.
Sorry, an increase of 9 million. But what the member would not tell you is that they left several outstanding bills and arrears for this Prime Minister to have to pick up. And yes, Honourable Prime Minister, I think the member before the meeting office also travelled to Jamaica, which we are also still paying out of this line item. So if the member had a little bit of shame, the member would tell the full story. The full story that part of this allocation, the increase, has to do with a raise.
Let's just give the answer.
Thank you very much. So we've gotten the answer from the member for Couva South that it is a raise. Would the member for Couva South put in writing to this House, out of the additional $9 million, exactly how much is in arrears? No?
Mr. Chairman, I'm advised by the Office of the Prime Minister that those bills are still coming in because they have racked up so many bills over the years without paying that there are a number of bills that are still coming into the Office of the Prime Minister. However, apart from the arrears that we have coming in, it is the intention of the Honourable Prime Minister and the Office of the Prime Minister to send several staff members on training, which has not happened over the last couple of years, as well as the Honourable Prime Minister and ministers from time to time will obviously have to travel, yes, but they will be returning investment and not yams and yam seed to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. One such instance, Mr. Chairman, you would recall, upon completing the United Nations General Assembly later last month, the Honourable Prime Minister led a delegation with respect to meeting with the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates as well as the Crown Prince of Kuwait. We are looking at new investment opportunities for Trinidad and Tobago, and the Prime Minister and others will be leading that charge to return investments that will redound to the benefit of the people and the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, as opposed to what we saw where millions of dollars for the last 9.5 years was spent, and up to now we can't get the yams or the yam seed.
So, Mr. Speaker, having allowed the member for Couva South his diatribe and his attempts, so in other words, the $9 million additional dollars is obviously not for the payment of arrears, but it is for the payment of the entourage of scores of you that decided to go to UNJ.
Mr. Chairman, this Prime Minister has no carry boy.
But that's what
and
you were doing.
therefore
You were holding
those that
the
will be
handbag.
attending will
But
be
you were holding
attending in the interest of the
handbag.
people of Trinidad and Tobago and not to play golf on any golf course around the world. Racking up bills for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to pay while you ride their backs.
Mr. Chairman.
Riding
Mr.
backs.
Chairman, on a
You
point
come
of
back
order
with your
46.
racist terminology.
Can we move on with the question now?
Mr. Chair, no, it is obvious what is going on here. You know, we cannot get a straight answer. I am at line item 62 now. Promotions, publicity, and printing. I have 5 minutes to lead up to the question. As I said, you all seem to get very excited, which is understandable once Siparia gets here.
Mr. Chairman, if you could have a question from the
Promotion, publicity, and printing. Promotions, publicity, and printing. Mr. Speaker, if I may be allowed to ask my question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you. In 2024, the allocation was $29,000. In 2025, the allocation was $20,000 with a revised estimate of $100,000. It is now being allocated for the member for Siparia, the member for Couva South, the member for Mayaro, and all others under Office of Prime Minister. The country should now be aware that $3.5 million from a traditional $29,000 is now being allocated for promotions, publicity, and printing. Would the member for Siparia kindly advise what is going to cost this country $3.5 million? Is it for the front page of OCM's Express newspaper and editorials?
No, I think the question, we'll cut off the question as what it's going to cost.
What is it going to be for?
You see the problem why it descends into that is the infusion of the invective. The question stands, what the 3.5 million? Prime Minister? Prime Minister, can you all members on both sides allow the Prime Minister to answer the question, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm advised by Permanent Secretary Barrow that this increased spending under this line item is towards stakeholder engagement. The National Commission for Self-Help has now come under the Office of the Prime Minister, so more monies will need to be spent. The housing program, there are certain programs that come under the OPM, and also the recruitment drive and content creation. This is projected for expenditure under this item.
All right. Item 002, Gender Affairs Division. Item 003, Communications. Item 004, Government Printery. Item 005, National Archives. Item 006, Freedom of Information Unit. Item 007, Office of Information Commissioner at page 62. We go to subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases at pages 63 to 64. Item 001, General Administration. Item 003, Communications. Item 004, Government Printery. Item 005, National Archives. Subhead 04, page 64 to 66 inclusive. Item 001, Regional Bodies. Item 003, United Nations Organizations. Item 004, International Bodies. Item 005, Non-Profit Institutions. Item 007, Households. Item 009, Other Transfers. Item 011, transfers to state enterprises. Subhead 06, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies, page 67. Honourable members, we will now move to the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly. National Library and Information System, NALIS. Page 5. Personnel expenditure, item 001, general administration. Subhead 02, goods and services, pages 5 to 6, inclusive, item 001, general administration. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies, item 007, households. Honourable members, we now move to the draft estimates of development program. Consolidated Fund, pages 20 to 26, item 004, social infrastructure, pages 20 to 24, G, educational services, E, settlements, A, culture, C, welfare services. Honourable members, item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. A, administrative services, pages 25 to 26. F, public buildings, page 26. Honourable members, we will now move on to the Infrastructure Development Fund. Item 004, social infrastructure, page 242. B, recreation. A, community development. C, welfare services. Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services, page 243. F, public buildings. All right, there being no questions, I propose to put the question. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $522,702,600 for head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum of $522,702,600 for head 13, Office of the Prime Minister, now stands part of the schedule. Honourable Prime Minister, might I thank you for attending today, and most importantly, creating history, I am told. I too would wish to thank your public servants for the time that they've devoted to this exercise, which I am sure must have been considerable, and for the inconvenience that we would have put them through from coming here on a Saturday. It was regrettable but unavoidable.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Speaker.
you all very much.
The public servants all week have been here every day. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to take some time for the public servants.
Head 01, President. Head 01, President, $20,782,000. I now invite the Minister of Finance to make a brief opening statement not exceeding 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. The Office of the President serves as the official institution that supports and facilitates the work of the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, who is the head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The President's role is quasi-ceremonial and constitutional in nature. The President serves as a non-partisan safeguard of the Constitution, ensuring that all branches of the government operate as required by legislation. In this regard, the Office of the President provides administrative, protocol, and logistical support for the President's official duties. We now hold ourselves available for questions, should there be any from the members of the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $20,782,000 for Head 01, President, stand part of the schedule. Honourable members, the sum of $20,782,000 for Head 01, President, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and draft estimates of development program. We shall now consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. Subhead 01, page 2, personal expenditure. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 02, goods and services. Item 001, general administration. Item 002, Tobago services. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases. Item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 007, households. Honourable members, we now move to the draft estimates of the development program. Consolidated Fund, page 2, item 004, social infrastructure. A, administrative services. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $20,782,000 for Head 01, President, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $20,782,000 for Head 01, President, now stands part of the schedule. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would like to extend thanks to the Office of the President and for the members of staff, the technical staff who are here today.
I would also like to thank you all for being here.
Head 05, Parliament. Head 05, Parliament, $153,541,100. I will now invite the Minister of Finance to make a brief opening statement. Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is the country's national legislature, where, amongst other things, bills are debated and passed into law for peace, order, and good governance of the country, and where the people's representatives speak to and represent their interests. The Office of the Parliament provides the administrative and apolitical support services to the Parliament, and the office functions under the leadership of the Clerk of the House, assisted by the Clerk of the Senate as Deputy Head. We hold ourselves available to any questions that members opposite may have.
Members, the sum of $153,541,100 for Head 05 Parliament is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of development program. We shall now consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure on the subheads, and I will identify the page number. Subhead 01, page 23, personal expenditure, item 001, general administration. Item 002, office of the ombudsman. Subhead 02, goods and services, pages 24 to 26 inclusive. Item 001, general administration. Item 002, office of the ombudsman. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, pages 26 to 27 inclusive. Item 001, general administration. Item 002, office of the ombudsman. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 002, commonwealth bodies. Item 004, international bodies. Item 007, households. Honorable members, we will now move to the draft estimates of development program consolidated fund at page 9. Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. A, administrative services. F, public buildings. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $153,541,100 for head 05 Parliament stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum of $153,541,100 for head 05 Parliament now stands part of the schedule. Thank you very much, Clerk of the House, Mr. Brian Caesar, who has worked tirelessly throughout this exercise, and we thank him for that. And all the other members of the staff who have given yeoman service to this exercise. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $50,405,695,293 be approved as a grand total. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the schedule now stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The schedule now stands part of the bill. The committee will examine the bill clause by clause. Amendments to the bill can. This bill has 3 clauses.
Clause 1.
The question is that clause 1 stand part of the bill. The question is that clause 1 now stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 1 now stands part of the bill.
Clause 2.
The question is that clause 2 stand part of the bill. The question is that clause 2 now stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 2 now stands part of the bill.
Clause 3.
The question is that clause 3 stand part of the bill. The question is that clause 3 now stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 3 now stands part of the bill. Honorable members, the question is that the appropriation financial year 2026 bill 2025 be now reported to the House. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The bill shall now be reported to the House. Pass this. Honorable Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to report that a bill entitled An Act to Provide for the Service of Trinidad and Tobago for the financial year ending the 30th day of September 2026 was considered in the Standing Finance Committee and passed without amendments. I now beg to move that it be read a third time and passed.
Honourable members, the question is that a bill entitled An Act to Provide for the Service of Trinidad and Tobago for the financial year ending on the 30th of September 2026 be now read a third time and passed. All in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Division having been called for.
Okay. Mr. Padarath?
A resounding yes.
Mrs. Basad Bissessa?
Yes.
Mr. Tanku?
Absolutely yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Dr. Manilal?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Hussain?
Yes.
Ms. Amin?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Maraj?
Yes.
Ms. Mohit?
Yes.
Mr. Sturge?
Yes.
Dr. Bodo?
Yes.
Dr. Dowlat?
Yes.
Dr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Sobers?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Dr. Sicharan?
Yes.
Mr. Kesa?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Definitely yes.
Mrs. Sam?
Yes.
Mr. Narayan Singh?
Yes.
Dr. Rup Narayan?
Yes.
Dr. Gosain?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
No.
Shame on.
Ms. Beck?
Absolutely no.
Okay, let's proceed in some silence. Let's not hold up the division.
Ms. Beckles?
I said no.
Mr. Imbert?
Sorry, can't vote for a fake budget, no.
Dr. Gatsby Dolly?
Fake. No.
Mr. Young?
No.
Mr. Scotland?
No.
Mr. Dana Breger?
No.
Mr. Manning?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Marcel?
No.
Mr. Devine?
No.
Mr. Birchwood?
Negative.
Mr. Romaine?
Certainly not, no.
Members, the results of the division are 28 members have voted for the bill, 12 have voted against, there was 0 abstentions. The results of the division are the bill has been passed.
a bill entitled, An Act to Provide for the Service of Trinidad and Tobago for the financial year ending on the 30th day of September 2026.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate the Honourable Prime Minister for creating history by holding herself accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago earlier today. I want to congratulate the Minister of Finance and members of government for phenomenal budget presentation. Mr. Speaker,
oh God, is your German to the House? Stop sucking up.
Let's have the motion.
Mr. Speaker, after the opposition has voted against the people of
Mr. Speaker.
We are going through the formality. What is the reason for this relentless pounding of this? Leader of the opposition. Leader of Government Business, can I call on you to move the motion?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, after they have voted against the people of Trinidad and Tobago today, Mr. Speaker, voting against public
Yes.
No. Yes. Voting against water.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House now adjourn to a date to be fixed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I would have thought that everyone would have been anxious rather than delay this process. Honourable members, the question is that this House now do adjourn to a date to be fixed. All in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it. This House now stands adjourned to a date to be fixed.